Right, good morning, everybody. Good morning, everybody. So, welcome to our first Startup Hackathon. This follows on from our Founders Festival. Some of you will have been here from the Founders Festival, and what the Founders Festival was a one-day education event. So it was an event really aimed at what should you put in place or to consider putting in place before launching a business. And we went through a number of different things, right from the idea and its intellectual property through to company formation. What we've done here is we've followed up through the summer, from the tail end of that through till now, over the last 3 months, in helping people, in setting up a hackathon to help people put some of these things in place. And most importantly, the actual validation of the ideas with customers. That's the big thing that we've been focusing on over the summer with a number of founders. This is, as I said, it's a practical event. What we're going to be doing, if you have a look at the agenda, we're going to be primarily hacking people's ideas. So after this introduction, Jake, do you want to come over and join us anyway so that we can see you on screen? With my colleague Jake. 12 Ronnies. No, after this introduction, we're going to be running through, as you can see from the agenda, we're going to be hacking people's ideas. What do we mean hacking people's ideas? Fundamentally, what it means is we want to get to the bottom of their ideas to see whether they're feasible, whether they're viable, and most importantly, whether they're desirable. Desirable being, do customers want it? So that's really the hacking part of it, trying to hack into people's ideas. But as an organization, who are we? Well, we're 12 Ronnies. And first of all, none of us are called Ronnie. And there aren't 12 of us. So Jake, tell us a bit about this crazy organization.
Well, he says there aren't 12. There could be 12. There might not be. It's a bit of a sort of Schrodinger's cat.
It's a mystery.
It's a mystery. Nobody knows. Simon and I have been involved, usually Simon as an investor, angel investor, and I've usually been in nuts and bolts with various startups. We actually met working on a digital health startup trying to digitize Harley Street, which, believe you me, is not going to happen because they open the door at 9 o'clock, patients come in, they sit there and go, are you feeling better? That'll be 25 quid. And then at 5:30.
Probably a bit more than 25 quid.
No, that's just to say hello. It's a bit like when you go to the vet, it's like they get your cat or your dog and go, what a lovely dog, what a lovely dog. That'd be 75 pounds. So it's a similar sort of model, and then they close the door at 5 and they go to their club and it stops making money. What we were trying to do was actually get all that knowledge that was in Harley Street and digitize it so people could access it 24 hours a day, and you could have asymmetric video stuff. So we met on that one, and so we ended up going to lots of kind of events around innovation and startups and stuff like that. And this thing kept coming out. They get some guy bound out onto the stage. I'm afraid to say, white male entrepreneur, and they'd say 80% of startups fail. I mean, Simon has been enough to these to say, why is that? And I can speak from experience. I've got at least 6 failed businesses in my past. Everything from film companies through to music studios and stuff like that. It's kind of like that bit out of Monty Python where he builds the castle like 10 times because it falls into the swamp, and then he builds another one and he finally stands up. That sort of thing. Learning from my mistakes or not, is the case, frankly. So we kind of looked into that, and Simon is far more analytical than I am, as you can tell.
I'm the geek. I'm in the workshop.
I was a bit more of a showman and all that sort of thing, so I don't know what I'm talking about most of the time. But we did look at this. Why do businesses fail? Why weren't they completing? And actually, this sticks into the green agenda as well. It's all that effort by all these people, all those hours, all that money wasted on failures. So they're not so much failures, they could have been successful, but they weren't set up properly, which is the genesis of this.
And this is why geeks like me that get into the data of this, most startups fail. That's banded around everywhere. But the data is quite clear. If you just look at simple things like Companies House, you'll be able to see that companies are going out of business all the time, and they're going rapidly. And if you look deeper into the data, not just from Companies House data, most businesses have failed or gone between 3 and 5 years out. Most of them actually fail right at the beginning. This is what we're trying to address, this problem. But they're failing after 5 years. The data is 80% plus. It's probably a lot bigger than that, because a lot of companies are still being listed. They're not finding customers. They're not really trading, so they're just hopeful that one day something will whatever. So the system is broken, and this is partly what we're looking at disrupting here. This is what we're addressing, and you can dive deeper into that for the reasons that companies fail. And the biggest reason, and the data is quite explicit on this, is no market need, no customer need. If people aren't buying what you're selling, you're going to go out of business. It really is as simple as that, and that's the biggest reason that they fail. And that's what we, during this hackathon, this summer, working with founders, have been looking at the customer side of their ideas, trying to match with the customer side of their ideas. There is another really big reason why companies fail, and we do touch on that during this hackathon, and we have been doing that through the summer, which is the people aspect, the team, the skills of the team, the chemistry of the team, the structure of the team, the shareholding agreements that don't match and aren't properly set up to reward people and are not fair. And this team people dynamic manifests itself in business failures such as running out of cash. Well, if you've got customers that are paying you money, it's normally a people problem that you end up running out of cash. There's a skill problem there. There's something hasn't been set up correctly. So that's the other big reason. But the big focus of our hackathon has been no customer need, no market need, nobody buying the products. So that's where we've taken the focus. And we set out at the beginning of the summer, 12 Ronnies have the facility through our mentoring platform to help up to 100 startups launch. It's very scalable what we're doing. Our approach, you see, is very much a mentor-led approach. Most people are familiar with the investor-led approach, because I certainly get when people come to me and they're looking for starting a business, and they join our platform, and I say, well, how can I help you? I would say 99% of people say, I'm looking for money, I'm looking for investment. Can you help me get some money to start my business? And it's sort of the wrong way around. Yeah, everybody like money. I'd like free money, yeah, please. And then I can pay people to start their business and I can buy on the beach. So it doesn't really work like that. And investors have a different criteria than you may have as founders in starting a business. They're looking for things that are really scalable very quickly, and they're willing to take risks on those. And the rest of them, they either won't deal with or they'll spit out quickly. I don't know whether you've heard of this fail fast scenario with the investors. They don't want their money being dragged for a long period of time. So they don't necessarily have your interest at heart. They have their own interests at heart, which is understandable. But what we're looking at is not this investor-led approach. We're looking at a mentor-led approach that takes the angle of don't start till you're ready. Don't start until you've found your customer profiles, how to get to them, whether they're interested or not. Effectively doing the work up front without spending the big money building products and setting up companies. So that's the approach, this mentor-led approach that we're taking with 12 Ronnies. So it is I guess, Jake, it's really a new era of startups where our approach we're taking now is a slow mentor-led approach into this era.
Yeah, we've some of you may have noticed, the Queen passed away this week in fact. We've now got a new king. You know, it's not terribly relevant, but it just shows you that always there is constant change, always things moving on. And as I think I was talking to a couple of you before, you know, I've got some equipment here that was 3D printed. That's going to change everything. It's going to shorten supply chains. It's going to mean that you know, that your ability to enter the market with a physical product is going to be easier. You know, and this really localizes global businesses and vice versa. So this new era, you know, you've all heard of things like digital cash and Bitcoin, all those sort of things are going to mean you can transfer value very quickly all over the world. Another thing Simon and I joined on where we were looking at, we're still looking at setting up smart contracts so that people can build teams on the blockchain and build their businesses. So this, as you so eloquently said, so the best time to start business is today, not yesterday. Is today. When people say, we're heading into economic troubled waters, you know what? Somewhere there is always economically troublesome times. But if you look on the skyline of all of the big cities, especially New York, the tallest, most impressive buildings were built when there was a depression. The Empire State Building, the Chrysler Building. And so this is when the whole market gets hollowed out. The businesses that shouldn't really be operating die because there isn't a market for them or they're not important. As we were talking about earlier, subscription businesses are going to really suffer over the next few years unless they're really, really offering value and really, really helping people with their lives. They're gone because we've had the pandemic. You've now got the headache from the pandemic, which is printing money, which causes inflation. If you don't know, and I'm sure you do, if you print loads of money, it means you've got loads of money chasing fewer goods. But this is good for us as entrepreneurs. This is good for us as business people because it means that there will be gaps in the market that grow. There'll be new markets to grow and things like that.
And this is pretty much the point of this hackathon, isn't it? I mean, this is very much looking at new ideas, where the gap is in the market, trying to frame it for the market without actually going and building something and taking the risk of building something that is all launched, nice and shiny. Nobody comes through the door, nobody buys.
Can I just add, right? If you meet anybody in their 50s,
steady on,
ish, who went into business in the 90s and the 2000s, right? And they tell you how hard it was. It wasn't. Because it was cheap money. It has been for 20 years. Because we just invented the internet so you could create practically anything. I remember going to see a tech startup called, oh God, I can't remember, it was a really stupid name. And I went there and I was sat there going, what do you do? Well, we're doing this. Profundity or something like that. I said, what do you do? I said, well, we're going to do content, we're going to do publishing. I said, what's the product? Well, we're going to do content, we're going to do publishing. and guess what? They're not there. They're not there. So anybody who says who is a mentor, they might have some really complete things to tell. But the reality of it is, you guys are on the platform, ready to rock and roll in a very changed environment, which those guys won't understand.
And I think this is sort of part of the point of what we want to do today, is it's really, really easy. I'm about to start the workshops. It's really, really easy to say when you look at an idea, that's a great idea. The only people that you should listen to about the idea, if they think it's a great idea, are the people that sit in your customer segment. We're going to go into all of this, but if they sit there and they think it's a good idea, and then you can start to talk to them about why they'd be interested, why they find it, then they're the important people. If most of the ideas that we're going to go through today and tomorrow, I don't fit in that customer segment. So my opinion, that's a great idea, it's pretty irrelevant. I can help you frame it, but it's pretty irrelevant, my opinion on whether that's a great idea or not. So it's all about the data. So I really want to start, if we can, if we have a look at the agenda for this morning, for the day, that's through. So we're starting, so we're actually going to start hacking some ideas now. We're going to spend a lot more time. We're going to spend more time with Grace on the first idea to really get to the bottom of what are the documents we're using, how are we doing it. So it's the first workshop will be a bit more extended. The other workshops with Ilias, Siobhan and Antonio will be a little bit shorter. They'll be about 20 minutes long, where we'll be introducing them. The format is just going to be having a chat. It's going to be, we're going to sit here, we're going to find out a little bit about the idea, We're going to look at the work that they've been doing in their data room. They've been collecting data. They've been framing it for customers. We'll try and understand it, have some questions, both online. This is where we'd like participation, both online and in the room, about questions, about the ideas. We'll look at the customer side of it. We'll look at the tests that they're either looking to run or have run. And then we'll see, are there any next steps? Are there any recommendations? So that's going to be really the format of this. What I would say is the more you see, because each one's going to be different, based on the same format, the more you see, if you have an idea for a business or you want to know how to start a business the correct way, which is a customer-focused business, this is where you should really look at the different ways of doing it. Try and find the ideas that maybe fit more in with your pattern. And it just gives you an idea. It's a learning, it's an opportunity to learn now and learn off other people and through a workshop. So I think we'll start with the first of the hacks, if you like, the first workshop. So Grace, do you want to come and join us? Now, I'm assuming everybody can hear us online. Let me, first of all, Grace, so we have a bunch of ideas, Grace, first of all, in a hackathon nest. Which idea is yours?
Enabled and you've just gone past it.
Which one, sorry?
Augmented reality.
There it is.
Yeah, so it's got the orange.
Right, so in this ideas nest, this is where, just before Grace talks through her idea, at the beginning of this hackathon process, as I said, we had the capacity to launch 100. We had just under 50 viable entries. We whittled that down in working with people to about, well, it was 24 entries. And now we're showcasing particular entries of interest. So Grace's one is on here. I click onto it. So we've got an idea on here, and it's all about. So Grace, it's more of a sort of a question answer interview chat. Feel free to take a seat. How did you come up with this idea? Where did it come from? What's the background into it?
Yeah, okay. Well, thanks for giving me the opportunity today. Morning, everyone. Yeah, my story started way back when I was 10 years old. My father, he supported me and he made maths fun and creative for me. So I was a student with, well, a pupil in primary school with mathematical anxiety. And over a summer, he didn't really teach me. He made maths fun and creative. And that was just over a summer. And then I got into secondary school. And then it was the end of the year. And they called out the name of the person who'd won the maths prize out of about 350 students. And that was me.
Wow.
And I thought that was a clerical error because it couldn't be me. I wasn't a maths person. And so I went on through secondary school, enjoying maths more. Of course, I now love maths because, you know, who doesn't love what they do well? And then
I wish my daughter loved maths.
she can.
Yeah.
And then I, you know, fast forward many years, went into university, studied computing because of maths again. And I always say that I always orchestrated my first class honours result from BSc computing just by choosing the more maths-like units. And I went through, you know, university, you know, doing, you know, loving programming and all that kind of stuff. But then one day I was at the student union building and I saw an advert and they were asking for students who could go into schools as volunteers and help children who were struggling with maths build their maths confidence. So I volunteered because of course it made me sad that these children were going through mathematical anxiety. They were quite young, 6, 7, 8-year-olds, you know, and then went into schools where we were playing games with them once a week.
Right.
And in 6 weeks, again, the same sort of thing started to happen to these kids. Their confidence was already turned around. And the teachers were saying, oh, they were engaging more in class and all that kind of stuff. And that's when I started to research more into how to help children, not just at school, but at home through games, creating games that are different to what we were using, games they would take home and play with their parents, but also that they could use in school to sort of link the whole parent, teacher and children sort of triad, I call it, together. That's where this whole thing sort of started from.
That's brilliant. That's super. I mean, it's when I say I'm not a customer profile, I've got a 13-year-old daughter that I would love to enjoy maths and obviously do well at maths. She's going to do a GCSE in maths in a couple of years. So
Yeah.
yeah, I can now start to affiliate towards that. So in terms of your ideas on Ideas Nest. It's there for people to look at. Is there anything on, before we go into your data room, is there anything on Ideas Nest to do with the overview that you want to pull out, such as its augmented reality app or anything like that to do with, to explain your idea?
So initially, what I launched was a board game, a physical board game, and that was about 5 years ago. But then as we sort of marketing it and all that, we started to see that, huge companies that were giving endorsements for it and all that. Kids loved it and all that kind of stuff. Loads of awards and all that. And then we started to see that it did have some restrictions, logistics, especially during COVID.
Right. Yeah, of course.
Ran out of stock, all that kind of stuff. Demand went up for parents, but then on the other hand, we ran out of stock and manufacturers were short and things like that. So we started to create the app, and that's where we've ended up here. So we're creating the app on basis of a proven physical board game.
Right. So it's
so that's the app, and it's in an adventure.
Got it. Well, let's have a little look. Let's have a peek into your data room, if that's okay.
Sure.
And have a look at some of the work. And this is the key to what we've been doing. So I'm just going to go into. We've got a group of validation rooms. As you'll see, we've been working with quite a few here on validation rooms. Where are we, Grace? So you've got. Now, first thing I want to say, and one of the reasons why I've asked Grace to come up first is she's got a tidy room. A lot of the data rooms that we had there, I couldn't have a clue what was going on. There were naming of documents, some were there, some were in different formats. So I've been nagging everybody, and I see Elias over there. Tidy your room, tidy your room. I've been like that, tidy your room. Grace didn't default. It's perfect, and so things are really understandable. As I say, I have no idea whether it's a really good idea or not, but we can now look into the idea and actually look into the depth of the idea to get a much better view with a customer angle on it. So it's not just the idea angle. So the first part, I'm going to look at your lead canvas. That's always a good starting point. So what we have here, just for the audience, before I start on a bit more time on this, is I provided, not in paper format, but in PDFs, I provided a whole list of PDFs around canvases, test cards, customer profiles for people to fill in. So this has been the basis of this. We've been collecting information to review, as well as you will see some people have also got validation experiment data. Most haven't. Most of this is too early stage 4, but some already have some validation experiment data for. So we go into the first one, which is nicely labeled for me, Grace, completed lean canvas. And let me expand this. So without looking into before you look into the parts that Grace has put on here, the lean canvas is constructed of the problem that you're trying to address. What's the problem out there? And we've been asked to list what are the main problems that Grace is trying to address here. What are the existing alternatives there? Because there's normally, people can do things a different way. This may just be a different way of doing it, and a better way and an easier way, or whatever it happens to be. But what are the existing alternatives? Because if you can, rather than say, well, this is unique, so there's nothing out there, there's always ways of doing it. Existing alternatives, just do it manually. Whatever the idea is. What's your solution? What's your solution to that problem? This is all about solving problems. As entrepreneurs, we're problem solvers. That's essentially what we're doing. We're solving a problem. So what's the solution to this problem? What's our unique value proposition? I mean, if it's not unique, why are we doing it? We're just copying what somebody else is doing it, and then you've got to pretty much do it better than them, and doing it better than them is a unique way. How would you do that to be better than them? So it's the unique value proposition. Unfair advantage is, I think, the hardest part, because almost nobody, very few people have an unfair advantage at the beginning. So what stops anybody else from doing the same thing? And I don't mean anybody else, I mean somebody else out there in the world from having the skills, the capability of putting this together. So that's really important. And then you get also the high level concept. And this is a way of, rather than explaining your idea in depth that we're going to do here, this is just a simple analogy. If you can give an analogy, so given an analogy here, we're coming. It's just putting the concept there so that people can frame it. But the main part that we're going to be focusing on, the biggest reason that most businesses fail, people not buying their product, is idea validation, the customer need. What are your customer segments? Now, this is so important to think about your customer segments and really to get into them and know them. The early adopters. Who are the first people you're going to go to? Who are you might have a group of customer segments, but some of them are much further off. Once you've got a better brand in the market, more people trust what you're doing. But who are the early adopters? Who are the ones that are going to jump when you first start? Customer segments. You've got your key metrics. So to understand, if I'm doing well, what are the metrics of my business? What makes it look good? I'm less focused on cost structure and revenue streams at this stage, at the idea stage. It's here. I think we'll touch on it, but the main focus that we want to do in this hackathon to hack the idea is all around this. It's all around this. It's all around the customer side. It's all around what's the problem, what's your solution, who are the customer segments, how are you going to get to them? So this canvas is the starting point of really this whole workshop process. Now I'm going to zoom in so people can see each part. By the end of this weekend, I should be able to get to navigate around all of this. Let's make it one bigger.
Scroll on the vertical side or the other side.
Oh, I can skip it. Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Chris. Hacking the canvas.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Let's just go. Hopefully, people can see that. If anybody's online and can't see the problem side, the problem solution side, can you unmute yourself and just let me know and I'll make it bigger? I'll take the silence as that you can see it. Right, Grace. So the problem that you're solving. So we've asked to really look at what are the main problems that you're actually trying to solve with this?
Yeah, I think there are three key problems that surround children learning maths. And the first is that too many children hate maths.
Yeah.
They don't believe they can get good at it a lot of the time.
Yeah.
And they find it a boring chair. So that's like the first one put together. The second is that they don't know how to relate mathematics to real life. And they don't see the point in doing it.
Yeah.
And the third is they don't have enough truly fun, creative ways to practice maths at home and at school.
I think the second and third one are very much apply to my daughter as well. So I can see that
I've
problem.
talked to you.
Yeah, thank you. And your solution, obviously, to
Yeah.
these particular problems, are you solving these? I mean, this is the real key. This is, if they've got a problem, or you assume they've got a problem here, we're going to test that.
Sure.
What's the solution there?
Okay. Yes, just to add that a bigger problem I found as well is that too many parents are afraid of mathematics themselves and don't know how to help their children. And in the UK, the maths problem is costing the economy over £20 billion a year, and America over $1 trillion.
Wow.
So in looking at a solution, then the key is to make maths fun.
Yes.
Is to create resources that help children learn without realizing that they're learning, but at the same time increase their skills in a way that's measured and that you can prove.
Yeah.
And that's like the main solution.
Okay, well, before we move into any of the other ones, the problem solution, I'd be interested to hear from anybody in the room that can equate to this problem, or whether they thought at school it was a problem in terms of maths, and whether they've seen any solutions to this. Does anybody in the room equate to this particular problem, or would feel maybe as a parent that yes?
Yeah, so this is an amazing idea, like 110%.
Thank you.
Because one of my daughters struggled a lot with maths, and I mean, I remember a particular day I took her to the supermarket to just do additions and subtractions, to make her see that, you know, it's applicable to real
life,
and to make that, but we didn't succeed. So I'm really looking forward to, you know, finding, and to be honest, I saw as she grew, a relationship between that and her level of confidence.
Absolutely, 100%.
And you know, it has improved a bit when we moved to the UK because she was doing better at maths. The methodology is different from back home in Nigeria. So yes, this is amazing. And I just wanted to, I don't have a solution, I'm just your customer.
Thank you.
That's brilliant.
And a couple more questions, Chris.
Yeah, I've got an additional problem for you. When I went to a independent school when I was 11, and I've been reasonably good at maths in my primary school. When I got to secondary school, I came across.
Chris, can I just stop you just 1 second?
Yeah.
I just want to check for the online audience. Can you hear, Chris? Can you hear the input from the audiences? Would somebody be able to unmute themselves and yeah.
Oh, okay.
I can hear him all the way here in Miami.
Fantastic. Not so loud, Chris. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, and essentially I came across a teacher when I was 11 and 12 who for some reason took against me because didn't like me. And I went to the bottom of the class in maths simply because the teacher didn't like me. And how do you get around the problem of a teacher not being supportive? So that's another problem, is that you might not have the support at school from the teachers that you have.
That's that's well, thank you very much for saying that, because that's very key. And I think that's all wrapped up in another problem, which is that even teachers, so when I see parents who are afraid of maths themselves and don't know how to help the children a lot of time, also teachers, a lot of teachers have the same problem. When teachers teach, especially in primary school, they are required to teach everything.
Yes, yeah.
So if they hate math, I've personally met teachers both in the UK and America, and in America, who said I hate math, and they're a teacher, and they're teaching math. So and sometimes it's not their fault, because you know, head teacher says or principal says you've got to teach math, that's their job. So they don't really, or sometimes have a choice. So it might not be, I mean, I don't know, since I really wasn't there, but it might not be that the teacher didn't like you, it might be a front for them covering the fact that they felt challenged maybe by you. Other teachers worry about children challenging them.
Okay. We haven't got enough time to go into deep discussions here, but we're going to have a breakout room afterwards, so you have opportunity to discuss it.
Yeah, that's another problem.
Yeah, no, that's
Online, is there anybody online, by the way, that would like to unmute themselves and talk about the problem solution, and whether it's there are any other problems that they can?
There is a question here from Sarah. So it says, do you know how your idea would work with a child with special needs?
Sarah, thanks for that. That's a great question. What we've been trying to do with the app is to make sure that it's inclusive.
Yeah.
So we're making sure that children with special needs or educational needs or disabilities, even, we're making sure that our app is inclusive.
Yes.
And if we go back to the physical board game, because that's what we're digitizing, and then adding a few other things to it, like augmented reality, artificial intelligence, and all that. The physical board game, we have tested it quite in a number of schools with children with special needs.
Yes.
And the feedback has been like, yeah.
Brilliant. Great. So you've actually thought of it, that side of it. Okay, I'm going to move on to the other parts of the canvas now to focus on. So your unique value proposition, and this is your
Oops,
Oh,
I did
let's-
something.
That's
Sorry.
okay. That's okay.
No, I got it back, sorry. Yeah, apologies.
So the unique value proposition here, which is really your compelling message, this is the big thing that people are going to pay attention to. Talk us through your value proposition here.
So our games are truly fun, and a lot of
So it's all around fun. isn't
it's
it?
all around fun, but it's about being, effectively fun, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people would say, "Oh, we've got this thing, whatever it is, that's fun and all that." But the key thing is that the way to know is whether something is really fun or not is
Yeah.
whether it brings a child to come and play that thing over and over and over again.
Yeah.
And that's what we call replayability in the games industry. And did play value? How much play can you get out of it while you're trying to learn what's in there for you to learn? So I'll say our games are truly fun, and they're a proven way as well. So specifically help children gain maths fluency, reasoning, and problem solving skills. Now, these are the 3 key aims of the national curriculum. So it is tied to, it's not just a math game, it also has all these other things that are crucial life skills that children need to succeed in this generation and other generations to come. And it's been proven as well.
Brilliant. And your high level concept?
Duolingo for maths.
Yeah, no, I love that. I love that. That's simple and it frames it for people's minds.
Thanks to my mentor. I can't really take credit for that.
Now the unfair advantage, and I'm not expecting most people to have an unfair advantage here, but what do you see your unfair advantage is on the top right
Yeah,
corner there? So,
I mean, again, a lot of games are not proven in the way that we've proven ours. So even large companies, what we find is that a lot of platforms that say that they have maths games, what they usually have is like a set of tests or
Yeah.
quizzes,
Yeah.
8 times 5,
yeah,
40, then you get a little coin and it
Yeah.
says, hey, and then you get 20 points and things like that. But ours is a proper
Yeah.
game. I mean, they're literally playing a game
right.
and they are at the same time.
Can anyone else produce this?
They can design like it, but to get a whole brand story that relates to what they're creating.
They won't have the
no.
brand story.
Yeah,
That
they
takes
won't
a long time.
They won't have the brand story, they won't have the experience
Right.
that I have in
Yeah.
doing it. I've been in the
So it'll
education
take time to get up to speed. To do that.
Absolutely.
So they can do the technology, but it's okay.
Well, I mean, even the technology, because they don't know what we put in the technology and why. And
But
the
I'm
experiences
saying
that
create something that can solve these problems.
Oh, yes, they can, except that, they'll be different because they wouldn't have the brand story, and therefore the experience that the child will get
Yeah.
will be totally different, and then the results as well will be different.
Okay. I'm gonna scroll actually along to, I want to go to over that side to,
I tried to do that and that's how I lost the screen.
don't worry. I'm gonna, let's go up here. By the end of this week, now I've done it as well. Let's open it again. Zoom in. I'll get there eventually. And we go up.
I think Zoom would have customer tested this by now.
Yeah. So hopefully everybody can see customer segments right at the far end. So this is what we're going to focus on. And so your customer segments really, it's parents, schools, it's
Distributors,
yeah.
licensees. Licensees are like educational publishers, the likes of Pearson, Oxford Publishing, those kind of people, those kind of companies, government departments, certainly, tuition companies, kids entertainment companies, and just the children themselves.
Yeah, brilliant. We're going to go into that in more detail in your customer personas and the channels to get to them. So how would you, now you've listed what I've seen here is you've listed your customer segments and your channels are similar. Now the channels part is how would you get to these particular customer segments? So how would you find parents? How would you find schools? How would you find licensees?
Yeah, social media marketing. We sell on Amazon, and so we're in 12 countries already. Just
so your channels would be social media.
social media, e-commerce, platforms.
Right.
But also even educational publishers are channels themselves.
Yes.
Yep. Licensees are channels because they have millions of customers.
Yeah.
So that's why this.
But the channel to get
How do
to
we
the
get to them?
licensee, these
Okay.
are
Yeah.
the key part here, and I deliberately didn't change this for you before you did this.
Yeah.
Because we sort of want to learn and from how people have done different things here. This is all about, so you've got your customer segments. This is all about the channels to get to them. Because a lot of people say that, and that I've had helping them do this, say, yeah, no, these are my profiles. So there's my parents. Well, how would you get to the parents? I don't know. Well, that's the thought about it. And some people say, well, I can't validate my idea because I don't know how to get to these people. Well, you're going to have.
Can I, very, very short story.
Sure.
Very, very short.
We're short on time.
I went to see a international development company, right? And their business model is this: they get the big tenders if they have the best consultants and strategists, right? And they said to me, "How do we find our strategists?" And they were advertising in, broadsheet newspapers and stuff like that. I said, "Why do you go to Facebook?" I said, "Because Facebook's for kids." I said, "All of these people work overseas, right?" They go, "Yeah." So they use Facebook to send photos back to their friends and family. They went on Facebook, advertised for that demographic. Boom.
Yep.
300,000 users use Facebook, so it's not for kids. I can tell you that.
Yeah. I use Facebook.
Yeah.
I use
I mean, currently I'm publicizing my book, so I know that 300,000 users actually use Facebook. So I'm not very active in there, but to publicize my book, yes, it is effective. Instagram and Facebook, very, very effective. Yes.
But most people think of channels.
Yeah.
But most people think of channels as social media. But
The exact channels are within social media that are.
where's the exact channels? There's also other channels. So for these distributors,
Yep.
you're not going to put a social media post in to find distributors.
No, shows. We
Shows.
never shows.
Yeah. So this is what I mean. So what needs
So-
focusing on here is the channels to get to each
Yeah.
one.
I can answer that easily. Amazon, Facebook.
Yeah.
Shows, exhibitions.
Google Ads might work for you.
Yeah, we're not doing it at the moment, but we're just starting. We're partnering with somebody who's going to be doing that for us next month.
And your early adopters?
Schools,
Schools.
they're the first ones, but yeah, we do have an existing educational publisher, and we're planning to go through them. They publish 25 million copies of the textbooks every year. So we're planning to go through them as well, quite easy.
And
They're already a
how are
customer.
you getting to the schools? What's your channel to the schools? Is it email? Is it phoning them? Is it
We
you
have-
a list?
Yes, we do have a list. We also have a relationship with schools already. And a lot of.
Yeah. Okay, brilliant.
Selling over the phone.
I've spent quite a lot of time on the lean canvas here because it's the key to what we're doing. I'm going to go through a little bit quicker on some of the other documents, if that's okay, Grace. Right, so
No, I got lots of thousands. Sorry, it took me long.
so
Sorry.
I think that first thing we're going to do custom profiles. So you've got here your B2 your customer persona. So you've got quite a few, which is nice. A lot of people just do one customer persona. So talk us through now. This is really important. So this is a B2C customer persona. Yes, this is a consumer. This is one of them.
This one is, yeah.
What generally I like to do as well is put a name to her. Okay, so Jane or whatever it happens to be, because that brings it out. If your customer persona was me, old white bald man, call him Simon. So it's all about really getting to know, not just getting to know you, understanding the main personas, and then trying to find more of them. It is really as simple as that. They don't all have to be working professionals. They don't all have to have bad maths grades. They don't all have to. But yeah. It's just trying to be able to understand who it is. So just talk us briefly through your customer persona here of Jane.
Yeah. So our customers are mums,
Yeah.
Sorry, Simon. I know that you care about your dogs as well.
Smaller profile dads. Do your maths. That's probably not the right way.
So mum's working,
Yeah.
married or single, doesn't matter. With children ages between, that core age,
Yeah.
primary school, early secondary school, worried about their kids' maths, worried that their child might lose confidence.
Yeah.
Just trying to look for ways to help their child enjoy maths more
Yeah.
and love maths more, just so that they can have more opportunities for a successful future.
How are you going to get to this customer persona? What you're going to do to be able to communicate to them your value proposition?
Well, apart from advertising and
Advertise. Yeah, that's fine. Advertising takes budget.
yeah, absolutely, yeah. Which is
And is this Jane again? Is this the same customer? Or is this
another one.
This is a.
yeah, I always call him Jane.
This is Jane in a company now.
Jane in a company.
Yeah.
She's a sales director or commercial director of an educational publisher, which is like a and they are licensees, so we would look for them as licensees. As I said earlier, they already have a customer base, large customer base, and they're looking for ways to supply the Jane customers
Yeah.
more resources that
Yeah.
actually effectively help their children with maths and help their children increase their grades and confidence and love maths. That's what they're looking for because they want to make more money at the end of the day. That's the real reason why they're looking
And
for
how you get to Jane the
the
company?
educational company.
Yeah.
We have a sales team.
Sales team. Okay. We've got John here.
Yeah.
Another company profile. How's John different?
John is either an advisor from the government for primary schools in a
Yeah.
particular borough,
Yeah.
or just from the education department or any government anyway.
Brilliant. Sorry, I'm having to rush
That's
through
okay.
this.
That's okay. That's okay. And they're looking for ways for
They're looking for
children
ways.
in countries.
So you've got,
Make the country more globally competitive.
oh, how do you pronounce this one?
Pretty.
And tell me about Pretty.
So Pretty is part of works for a kids entertainment company like Disney.
Yeah.
And we plan to build up our characters. We've got 4 main characters that's on the physical board game, which we plan to bring into the app. And we're going to make those characters come alive and then hopefully sell them to license them.
Okay. So what we're showing here is Grace's understanding who she's actually thought about, not just I'm going to sell to these organizations, but who in these organizations am I going to promote my value proposition to? What are they like? What's their motivators? What's their driving forces? If you can get to what their problems are that you're solving and you really understand them, it's going to be much easier. I'm not going to go through all the ones. It's brilliant. You've done quite a few here, by the way. Let me go back. So I wanted to go into your value proposition. I think this is quite a key. I'm going to have to enlarge this. This is really, really key. So what this particular canvas is matching your value proposition and the different parts of your value proposition with your customer segments, or your customer segment in this case. So what you want to really be able to do, and we're going to go through this in this is quite key to a lot of people's hacks when we go through theirs, is what are the gains that your customer segment is looking for, and can we match that with the game creators? Can we get there? What are the pains that this customer segment have? What are the pain relievers? Does it match? What you're really wanting to do is find a match. This is the hard work about framing your idea. This is on the idea side. So the products and services. Well, first of all, you've got the customer jobs. What are the jobs they do? Can your products and services facilitate that? Are they addressing? Ooh, can move the screen around. That's great.
That's cool.
That's cool. Okay, this is even better.
Oh, wow.
Okay. I'm gonna have a lot of fun today. Right. So just very briefly, because we haven't got time to go through all of this right now. Do you feel you've matched quite tightly your game creators with your games, with your customer jobs, with your products and services, with your pains, with the pain relievers?
I believe so.
Yeah, I mean, if we just take we just take one of them very, very quickly. Let's take customer jobs. So we've got the actual jobs that they're doing there. Do the products and services solve these jobs? Do they help these jobs?
Yeah, absolutely. For example, the government educational advisor. I have a real life example in Greenwich where we conducted sessions for kids using the game, and the educational advisor's job is to make sure that they advise the schools about what they should be doing to help children increase their grades, and that's what we do.
Brilliant. Okay, sorry, I've realised I've been going quite quickly, quite slowly through some of this. So the other things now, you've got some test cards here.
I do.
Let's have a look at test cards. So these are tests. First of all, are these tests that you run or that you want to run?
No, we have run them.
You have run this test. So you've taken from your, this is the key part. So you've taken from your value, from your lean canvas, a hypothesis on there, and you've run a test, not you. Some people just
Run some tests, yeah.
So your hypothesis is parents are looking for ways to help children learn maths.
Yep.
You believe that, and you want to test whether that's the case. So to verify that, you've conducted a survey with parents about asking about their interest in a maths app game for their child. Okay. I'm never a fan of surveys normally, unless people have a product that they've seen and can understand and giving feedback.
Yeah.
I think people will often tell you what you want to hear. It's very difficult to frame a survey to get to the bottom of what they actually mean. So normally I prefer customer behavior rather than filling in, I like that or I want that.
We did both. And the other ones in
Right.
the next test.
So this is the survey one, and you measured, and if you're right, over 50% of parents respond with their email addresses. So you did a survey, but they responded with their email addresses.
Well, we asked them if they would like to know more and, hear when the app is out.
Right. So so it was less a survey, as I understand.
Well, the survey had 10 questions in it, so I've just picked up
and
I
they
put
responded.
lots,
So they responded with the survey and gave their email address,
that's correct. Yeah.
which is actually better than, in many ways, in just giving an email address. They put more effort in. It's more validation. And so okay, that's good. That's good and brilliant. Let's quickly, you did another test. 3. So again, you to talk us through this one.
So the game that's within the app, our hypothesis is that we can scientifically prove that it helps children gain maths fluency skills, reasoning, and problem solving skills, apart from enjoying maths and having more fun and all that, and that we can link it to the 3 key aims of the national curriculum. That's the hypothesis.
And to verify,
we partnered with University of Greenwich and conducted a proper academic research into it.
Brilliant. Very good. And what were the measurement?
To check to see whether up to 75%. Sorry, we were hoping to get more than 75% of schools.
Yes.
Saying through having tested the program for a whole month.
Yeah.
Sorry, for a whole term, so that's 3 months. Checking to see if 75% of teachers would say that it really is, linked to those 3 key aims of the national curriculum for maths.
Right. Got it. Your data room now. I won't go to your learning cards at the moment. In terms of data collected, because you say you've got some, have you put it into your data room yet?
No, because when I looked at it, I could see that it had things like number of emails collected. Now, in the case of the research, for example, we did 10 schools. So if we were looking at just teachers, that's just about 20 teachers, 20 emails collected, as opposed to the 1,024 children that were included in the survey. So I'd be looking for a way to put in that we did the research with the University of Greenwich on 1,024 children.
Got it.
Otherwise, people will just see 20 emails and think, oh, it's just 20 people or something. So that's why I haven't filled it yet.
Okay, no, that's fine. That's fine. So where you're at the moment, to just summarize where you are actually at the moment with the whole idea, your business, the process, with your idea validation, with your data collection?
Yeah,
Quick summary.
yeah, we believe, hope you agree, we believe that we validated the idea, especially because we had the physical game and other games for 5 years. And, you know, I mean, we've had loads of, what do I call it? Validation again.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, endorsements, awards, credibility, and all that kind of
Yeah.
stuff. And of course, sales. I mean, over
Yeah.
30,000 children have played our
Yeah.
games. So those same games are what's going into the app. And so we believe we validated it anyway. But then when we started virtual running, it's okay.
Yeah.
Validate. Okay.
No, because it's all about validation, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's all about the data and collecting. So we're going to finish here, and what's going to happen is Grace is going to go into one of the other rooms, room 26 here. So if anybody wants to talk to Grace more about her idea, find out more about it, possibly even talk about being an advisor or having the ability to partner with her, please feel free to go and join her in room 26. For those of you online, she'll be in room 1. What we have, I want to explain to you, what we have is I've opened up a number of rooms, breakout rooms on Zoom, and I've opened up 10 breakout rooms. You're free to go into any breakout room online, but reserve room 1 is for Grace at the moment. She'll be in room 1 if you want to talk to Grace online. She'll be in another room and she'll be able to access it the way we're speaking now. It's equivalent setup. The other breakout rooms are, if there's somebody online that you want to chat to, you can message them, because you've got the ability to message them a room that you wouldn't mind chatting to them in, and try and get a conversation going. So we're going to finish this workshop. Thank you very, very much, Grace, for putting your idea forward. Right, next workshop. So let me just set up for the next one. The other one's going to be a lot quicker. So we're going to run through this in a much quicker format now. So Ilias, if you'd like to come up front, we're going to run through pretty much the same process now, just slightly quicker, and get to things a bit sharper. So
Thank you, Simon.
So first of all, we're going to do what we did before. Let me. Which is your idea? Where are
It's
we?
called £1 tuition.
That's it. That's an interesting one. I'm not sure where is it.
It's
There it is. Got it. So on Ideas Nest. So we're going to start here. Again, a little bit like we started with Grace. Give us some background. How did you come up with the idea? Tell us about the idea. Tell us about what brought you to.
Okay,
to
just
this.
before going into it, 1 minute regarding my journey. I was traveling from Bangladesh. It's like 10,000 kilometers away. It's just day before yesterday I landed. Still a bit of headache and jet lag, you can say, because I've been to Turkey, then to UK, and straight came. I booked my ticket early just to attend this event. And thank you and the team, Simon, Startup Hackathon, 12 Ronies. You've been doing last many weeks, so many things which I learned first time. And thank you to my university, India Ruskin University. I did my master's here, MBA, back in 2015 and 2022. I'm very excited to be here. So that was a bit extra. When I came here, I was feeling sleepy, a little bit sleepy, like, oh, I'll rush, come and let's see. Thank you again. Okay, now coming back to the point, £1 tuition. And if you can see, it says 100% online. So I'm a chartered accountant from ACCA, but I love teaching. Just like Grace, my idea was almost like similar, like Grace, but £1 tuition idea came when I was just about to graduate from Anglia Ruskin University, and I was teaching that time. I found teaching is quite expensive, especially the private tuition, A-levels, AAT, professional exams. I did my professional exams, ACCA, and I found online education is quite impressive from Anglia Ruskin University, as well as from other colleges, BPP, Kaplan, LSBF. I completed my ACCA using online. Then the idea came in, why not helping even the small kids, GCSEs, A-levels, and AAT? So providing
Carry on.
quality education at an affordable price. And that was even the dialogue from Anglia University London campus. They had a slogan, which I loved a lot. They used to call it quality education at an affordable price. I brought that idea in it. I thought, let's launch £1 a day, any subject you do. And that's more affordable. I think the cheapest in the world.
Yeah, £1. That's certainly. Well, £1.
Yep.
And I like the name because it's quite eye-catching as well in terms of that.
And my data room is not neat and clean like Grace.
Yes.
And not at all.
We had a chuckle, didn't we, about, oh no, you tidied it so much.
Did I?
When I tidied it. For you.
Yes, you didn't.
I tidied his room, I put templates in there and moved
thank
it
you.
out. Yeah, so, because you were traveling.
Question if you don't know.
Please.
So £1 tuition, I understand you said £1 a day.
Yes.
But are there any hours attached to it, or it's like, if I want, I can take benefit of as many hours as well?
Yes, there are two types of, you can say products or sub-products, like live lectures and recorded. Recorded is unlimited, covering the entire syllabus. Like, well, I introduced accounting only because I'm an accounting teacher, but I worked for different sixth form and colleges. I'm going to introduce, maybe I partner with Grace for maths and or other teachers, bringing them in, covering the entire syllabus. These are my handwriting, just excuse me on that. I wanted to be a doctor. That's the handwriting like a doctor. So, ended up with an accountant. I'll come back here, just answering your question. So recorded lectures covering the entire syllabus, leading them to AA star, and all the resources would be there. But of course, there are kids like 14 years, 15 years, 16 years old would be, they need live interactions, like asking questions, getting the touch, like my teacher is in front of me and getting the questions answered and doing homework, checking the homework could be. So live lessons for the time being, Saturday, Sunday, weekend live lesson, and rest is recorded. That's the, and they can use 24/7 online, on demand.
The problem you're solving?
Yes, of course, it's expensive. I can tell you, if you have taken tuition for A levels, any subject, maths, accounting, physics, chemistry, biology, 1-to-1, £35 per hour.
Yeah.
2 hours lesson minimum, £70. Why expensive? If you multiply with, like, if anybody taking 4 hours a week, and it's quite expensive for one A level, and for 3 A levels or GCSEs, 6, 7 GCSEs, expensive.
No, I know that from personal experience. When my daughter was sitting her 11 plus, we had to get an 11 plus tutor. And they're so expensive. It's actually the 11 plus system, just as a slight divergence here, is supposed to be for people that can't afford to go to private schools and all of that and to get through. But actually, the amount of money you have to pay to educate them to pass the exam, it's really for the more privileged anyway. But so I understand the expense of tuition.
Second one is experienced teachers. My experience, especially the accounting teachers, are very few in United Kingdom. Business teachers, they're teaching accounting. Economics teacher, they're teaching accounting, or even maths teacher teaching. Should not be. There should be a core teacher. Like eye surgeons should treat the eye treatment, not the teeth. Yeah. So that's needed, and that's very less. Even maths teachers are scared. Shortage in London, in United Kingdom, shortage occupation. Updated resources, the third one. Every 4 years, the syllabus gets updated. The Edexcel has updated their syllabus. So the resources needs to be updated as well. Hand notes, the questions, how you're going to write. It is basically the demand of the society and economy. Then they change the syllabus.
Yes.
We need to update our resources, course materials. And the flexibility, I meant to say, can I get my teachers on time whenever I need it? Or like I make a phone call, email, is he or she replying me, or my daughter, my son? So that is not available also. These are the very big problems.
But the existing alternatives, if somebody, where do they go?
If they need it, they go to tuition centers. And as I said, expensive traveling is there.
Yeah.
But yeah, they do get experienced teachers and all the benefits. Online, still there, not many.
They know where to find it as well.
They don't know where to find it. Also, like I would say, not so well-structured online bodies are there still for offering GCSEs, A-levels and AAT. Also, face-to-face classes like in tuition center or any other means of way. These are already existing alternative for my product.
And your solution here.
Yeah, of course.
Addresses the
It's
problem.
the cheapest in the world, I said it. If you can't read sometimes I can't read my handwriting. So I'm just sharing for you.
That's why I'm asking you to read.
Yes, I'm reading it. So £1 tuition, the solution for the expensive tuition is cheapest in the world. And you get qualified and experienced teachers from my £1 tuition. Like at least you need to have a level 3 qualification on teaching and your subject's expertise. Best resources, like whether you collect from internet to research it or write off your own, maybe there are many teachers teaching 20 years, 30 years, they have fantastic resources. We're going to bring it in here. On-demand access, that is the flexibility students get 24/7, all the time, at their own comfort from home.
Yeah. Unique value proposition. Sorry, I'm referring through this.
Yes, we are going definitely a bit faster. So I said the 24/7 on-demand access, complete syllabus coverage with pass assurance. Now,
what does that mean?
Yeah, now there's a little distinguish another product. Like I'm focusing on GCSEs and A-levels. That's one.
Yes.
When I said pass assurance, that is for professional courses like AAT, ACCA. So they want to pass.
And this is unique, is it?
Yeah, this is different, and very few people are doing it there. So from that £1 tuition, they'll get the syllabus coverage, which I have answered in your question. And pass assurance is a big matter for professional students. I was a professional student. I failed many times, I can tell you, and my exams were a nightmare for me. But thankfully, many UK educators, I'd like to take name even, he's just like you, very nice white gentleman from BPP University. He runs similar, I inspired from him, like similar stuff called accountancy, ACOW accountancy.com. Funny name, brilliant work. So, and finally, after pass assurance, quality education at an affordable price.
No, I got that. And do you have an unfair advantage? Can somebody else do this? Is it possible that somebody else could do this? If somebody said they're watching this and going,
yeah,
can somebody do this? It doesn't.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't matter. With most business ideas, almost all, somebody else can do it. It's the thing we say, and gosh, I bore myself with this, is it's not about just the idea, it's the entrepreneur. It's about actually making it work. Everybody has ideas. It's the execution of the ideas. So part of it is the unfair advantage of most entrepreneurs is that they're willing to get up and do it. They're willing to make it work.
Yes, if they want, they definitely can do it. Like similar businesses, almost similar businesses are there. They can do it, and sometimes they can hacking system, online, because it's online. And
okay. So, but I get the gist that people could do it, but it's.
Of course, it will be protected, and yes, the passion. If someone can do it, but delivering and presenting the real owner with the vision will be much different. With the passion, I will be delivering. The others, if they even try to copy it, let's try to do £1 tuition, second £1 tuition. So that will be difficult for them. And
your customer segments, just briefly.
Quickly going over, of course, those would be schools and colleges, also universities and institutes, also direct students. If anybody looking online, Facebook, YouTube, Google, they're going to come up with that, £1 tuition, let's try it for 1 week. They can cancel anytime. Then online from all over the world, because Jesus is available all over the world, and yet again in campus, I meant to say the same thing as schools. So these are my customers.
And I can see your channels. You're looking at YouTube. You're looking at Facebook. You're looking at blogs. You're looking at So you've got lots of channels to be able to get.
Yeah,
to them.
even free lesson works a lot, I think. Like if I offer a free lesson.
But that's not a channel.
To get them.
Yeah.
Through
So
those,
you,
then
these are
also.
yes. There we go again. I'm going to move actually to your customer profiles really quickly. Let me go to your profiles. Where we got it. B2B or B2C? Do you want to start with?
I think B2C maybe. Yeah. Did I write? Oh, here I'd like to say I didn't write anything here. I'm so sorry.
That's okay.
Age, marital status.
No.
Even one of your mentors maybe I have learned. I didn't know that I can write from that PDF. And
Yes, you can write onto
computer.
PDFs.
So one of the mentors told, like, you can write like that. Then I came up with this computer writing. Okay, so this is a B2C.
So this is a B2C. So tell me about her.
Yeah, she's a mother, and you can put 40 plus age and married, and she has got 3 to 4 children. Location London, income 40K plus yearly, education.
Anybody in mind a name?
Jenny.
Jenny. Okay.
But she is a mother looking for tuition for her son or daughter.
So you've got a picture now of
Yes.
Jenny.
Yes,
Right.
I got a picture.
Okay, that's good. No, this is really important because Jenny, remember when we go back to your lean canvas and your how you're going to be able to the channels you're going to get to Jenny. That's all about that. I'm going to go on to your next customer profile. You'll be to B1.
This is Jason.
This is Jason.
Now, can I finish Jenny in 30 seconds? Then
Yeah,
talk
yeah.
about. So Jenny is a mother. She's looking for tuition for her daughter. She's going to do A-levels or AS, and she was very worried. Where can I get best teachers? Is it affordable? Do I need to travel all the way along? That's for A-levels or GCSEs. Business to customer, but this is business to business.
Yes.
Now, this product is not GCSE level. This is for the professional AAT. But yes, we
So
can
you
sell
go
it.
to the businesses.
Yeah, we go to businesses. But even with A levels, GCSEs, we can go to colleges, schools, universities, colleges and schools, basically, for GCSE A levels. This one for AAT, ACCA professional students could be, or training. So Jason, he's 23 years old. He's a trainee accountant, also student for AAT, working for KPMG Big Four accounting firm. Is doing data entry and accounting.
Okay.
Yeah.
No,
So-
that's good. I just wanted to get a view of so that you've got a good view of your customer profile. Tests. So
I didn't do
you didn't.
those tests.
So this is.
I was asking you last moment, yeah, I didn't have that time. I was traveling Turkey and Bangladesh, and then coming back to London just day before yesterday. I couldn't.
You know how I told you about you tidying your room?
Yeah. All the time we were on the chatting.
Not good enough. Entrepreneur. Could you imagine Elon Musk? Oh, I didn't have the time actually. So I was getting my private jet to whatever.
So these are the 2 items I didn't. All the other items I did. So
I'm not going to go through your value proposition canvas or anything like that at the moment. We can touch on that. What I wanted to be able to do is just open up in the remaining time here. People's thoughts on Ilyas's idea, anybody affiliate with what he's looking at doing, any suggestions, both online. If anybody online has got any questions, please put them in the chat. I can't actually see my chat.
You want me there now? I can take the chat.
It's okay. Yeah, if there is anybody on the chat, they'd like if anybody online has any questions for Ilyas.
So is it £1 a day per subject or £1 a day for access?
a good question. £1 a day per subject.
Great.
So if anybody taking 3 A levels, £3 a day.
Okay. Any other
I
questions?
was just
No.
gonna make clarify, is that for the online work, but not for the tutor?
It's fully online, no face-to-face.
And how does the face-to-face? They
Oh,
don't
they-
online,
they-
they love it.
yeah.
Can they?
There will be opportunity in the center like face-to-face, if anybody wants to do it. But this one is fully online. But for the face-to-face, that will be, I think, a bit expensive, not purely £1. We can say starting with £1, like starting with £1. If anybody needs help face-to-face, they can come travel to the center, tuition center, and do it. Sorry.
So is it recorded or is it live?
Yeah, it is both. You know, the syllabus fully covered small videos like 3 minutes, 5 minutes, 7 minutes videos. The entire course covered recorded, lesson by chapter-wise chapter. Let's assume 12 chapters in a maths book. All the chapters, including all the questions and quizzes, there will be quizzes as well. They can participate. Comment section will be there. Many students will be commenting and getting to know each other. Social media group will be there. Recorded. So they can get all help from recorded. Then the coming point, the live, yeah. There will be open live session every Saturday and Sunday, subject-wise.
Are they £1 as well?
That more.
Are they £1 as well?
Yes, that is included in this £1, within £1. If any student buying, for example, maths,
Elias, I'm going to have to move you to your own room now. There was one question.
There is a question from Sarah, and she's saying, how are you going to make profit?
I'm telling you, I'm going to make big profit just to multiply. Millions of students are there, and to one time like a million sounds like £1, but this is a £1 million business going
But then
to.
if you have one person,
Yeah.
I don't know if you're going to be the first person who's working, you're going to be working for free. So if I pay for the subject and I still have one-to-one time with you, as well as all the recorded material that's also been edited, and you're only charging £1,
Yeah.
how are you
The,
going to make any money?
you know, I'm looking for the subscribers. Let's assume 600, 500 students. They're just enrolling one subject, £500 a day. So that's how I'm going to make the money. And for the recorded one, it's generic, like all the students together using Zoom or any other platform, we can deliver the lessons.
Like a subscription, isn't it?
Yeah. Subscription, yes. They can cancel anytime.
What's your sort of, for the live sessions, what's your ratio? Is it one person talking to
Yes.
hundreds? or-
Yes, that would be the ratio. That is like, sounds like loads of students, but that would be that.
Because if you have millions of students, you're going to need.
Then we're going to do
tons
loads of
devices.
sessions, loads of sessions. At the beginning, I have. in
Elias, I'm
mind-
going to have to sorry, I'm going to have to stop you because we've got the next one coming on.
Okay.
If anybody both in the room and online has more questions for Elias, room 26 for the people here, and you'll be connected to people on Zoom. They need to come into meeting room 1, so you'll be in meeting room 1.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Right, Siobhan, we're rattling through this. The whole idea of this is not really to spend a lot of time on each person's idea. It's to understand the approach, understand what we need to do, understand the important things that we need to address to find customers for what we're doing, to frame our ideas for customers. So that's why we're going through in different ways. As you can see, Elias wrote his down and scribbled his down. Some people do it in different ways. I do like Siobhan's idea though. So
It's very notable.
let me first of all, let's find your idea. Where is it, Siobhan?
I don't know.
Let's see, where are you? Start at the top, you're not here.
It should be on there, but I haven't.
No, you are on here. I can't see.
Oh, here it is.
Just here?
Yeah.
So again, like I started with everybody else, would just give us a minute or two about how you came up with the idea, what's background to it.
Okay, so the brand is called Lavender and Pepwood. It's basically anti-anxiety jewelry. I worked in the jewelry industry, more so fashion jewelry, for a number of years.
Right.
And I sold just on the side in markets and stuff. And it was always just pretty jewelry, mostly like pearl and gemstones.
Yeah.
COVID did a number on everybody.
As it did.
And one of the things I did purchase was an essential oil diffuser that you have at home.
Right.
But then obviously when lockdown closed or stopped and everyone goes back out, you don't have that comfort. And so what an essential oil diffuser does, it helps create an ambience in your home that will help with things like anxiety and stress.
Yeah.
So other than just doing pretty jewelry, I thought about doing anxiety jewelry, which would diffuse essential oils and help with stress levels. But there is a market for it, which I know
We're going to come into.
and that well-being and mental health has got more of an industry that is growing, and people are more concerned about those products that are going to help with
come much more into people's awareness,
yeah,
hasn't it?
yeah,
now?
CBD products and weighted
Completely.
blankets.
Completely. No, I've seen that myself. Well, in a tradition, now that we've done two others, we're going to go to your data room. If it's okay for us to have a look at your data room, see if it's a nice tidy room first. Where are you? Go down here. Down. Yes, very good. Tidy room. Let's go to your lean canvas. And now I know how to expand it a bit more. Okay. Again, don't spend too long now, but if you could outline the problem and the existing alternatives.
Okay, so one thing I did struggle with is because when you wear jewelry, you wear it because of how it makes you feel. It doesn't actually necessarily have to have a function. It's a lot more emotional. But the problems that I'm trying to highlight are anxiety and wanting a positive vibe.
Well, this was the interesting part. I've never thought of jewelry as being anything other than ornamental.
Yeah, exactly.
So
exactly. So this is more functional, but it has to be aesthetically pleasing, because if it doesn't look good, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, of course.
No one's
No one's going to wear it, are they?
So yeah, the problems are, anxiety, well-being, and providing products that will help you feel better.
Yeah. And can people get these?
Yeah, going to the unique proposition. It's not a unique idea. Other than the brand story and how you make something look, it's not unique.
Yeah.
Like a cupcake isn't unique, but if you can do it very well, like Lotus Cupcakes,
brilliant.
Then you create a following.
Brilliant. And in terms of this, the solution again, you've already said that really.
Yeah, it's something that's more portable. So you can take a holiday, you can go to a spa, but who's got time to do that every single weekend, even if you have the resources?
Yeah.
So even if like a stay-at-home mum, it's something that you can have, and you can have it in different colors. You can give it as gifts to your friends, and it's something that feeds into your mental well-being on a more regular, everyday, accessible basis.
That makes a lot of sense. And the people you're targeting, your customer segments that are right the way.
Yeah. So
who's
broadly,
because I'm probably not your customer segment.
Well, although I have been thinking about, because there is men's mental health.
Yeah.
You can have very unisex beads.
Yeah.
If you were up
no, I meant
wearing,
jewelry because I'm digital watch. This is my sense of fashion.
But generally, it's going to be women aged between 20 to 40, which is very broad.
Yes.
But within that, there'd be different kind of lines.
Yeah.
I suppose. Those who are very holistic, maybe they go to Pilates and yoga.
Yeah. They
drink smoothies on a regular basis. They have a disposable income to buy themselves a gift, a treat, and maybe for friends as well. And also maybe B2B. I was talking to that lady over there, I can't remember, earlier about corporate clients.
Yeah.
So for example, one of my personas is somebody who's in charge of being like a well-being officer.
Right. Yes.
That could be at a university, but probably for a large organization, like a tech organization, where they're concerned about the mental health of their employees. And so this could be a product that they could give to their employees. Just, this is what you do, this is how you use it, and it will help you on your computer for 10 hours a day.
Oh, that's brilliant. And who do you think the first people? Who are you going to target first of all? Who are the first?
It is going to be the people who are on social media a lot.
Yeah.
Shop online, very comfortable at trying new things, trend adopters who take pictures of their avocado toast and are very kind of holistic. You probably use crystals and.
Just describe my sister. Right. Let's go on to the customer profiles then. Where are we? Persona. So we've got Pippa here.
Yes, so I've recently moved from Wimbledon, but I was there for about 7 years, and I worked in an environment where I'd meet a lot of these types. So Pippa is in Wimbledon. She has taken a gap year likes to help people and do these sorts of things and enjoy life.
Yeah.
Very into.
I can picture her actually.
Yeah, new age and yoga and sort of stuff. She's on Instagram a lot, and so she's very influenced by what is new and what's going on, and uses the other platforms, but Instagram is probably her predominant one. She's influenced by climate change and protesting and yoga and just having a sense of adventure and colour and trying things different. She has sometimes struggled with anxiety, not massively because she's from quite a stable background, but it's a lot more prevalent, or people are
But it's
more
there in the
aware of
background.
it. Yeah. And so does try to find holistic solutions that are outside of like pills for anxiety and stress, and promotes it online.
What I like about this one is Siobhan's really got into her customer profile here. It's and you can actually, I can actually picture this person, which is really important. I think once you can picture them, you can go and find more of them. I mean, that's really the key to it, finding more of them. So there's a lot of Pippas out there.
Yeah.
Now we've got, what are we looking at? Customers, B2B.
Maybe do this one first.
This one.
Yeah. Okay, so Jennifer, she's older. She's an owner of an independent luxury boutique. Possibly, I actually looked at one that was in Wimbledon Village.
Yeah.
It's called Boho Fest.
Yeah.
And it kind of does resort wear all year round. Very kind of hippie, but high end. So if you're going to Bali in November, for example, she's the buyer and the forecaster. She's the buyer and the forecaster for her customers, and she's always looking for something that's different, but can fit in with the brand. Yeah. She's independent, she's driven, but she always wants to produce quality, but something that's different, it's quirky, it's colourful, but it's still luxury. Her values are, again, producing quality and something unique and something a little bit more cultural.
Yeah.
The messaging strategy from the website was
that's interesting.
Yeah. We source and acquire finest collections from around the world while stocking global apparel. We believe in supporting local London designers and factories. That's from the Boho Fest website.
No, again, we don't need to go through. You might want to change your picture. I'm sure Jennifer's to a more updated picture. But that's brilliant. I really like it, because these are good customer profiles. I think they give a picture of who Siobhan's targeting here. What should I go on to next? Do you want me to go and look at your test card? Or
I've not done tests yet. So probably the maybe the value proposition canvas.
Value proposition
that one,
canvas, this
one. Although it's not fully
it's okay.
done, because I didn't understand it at the time, but having seen Grace's, I understand it more.
So what would you? Okay, let's just go a minute. Oh, of course, of course. Thank you. More?
Yeah, that's.
Okay.
I don't what customer jobs meant.
Okay, well, should we work on this one?
Yeah,
then let's work on this one. So what you're looking at here is the segment. So you're choosing your particular segment. Now, you don't have to only have one value proposition canvas, by the way. The way you can have multiple customer personas, you can actually have multiple lean canvases or business model canvases or value propositions. So an example of somebody having a multiple lean canvas for this is if you've got a two-sided marketplace where you're targeting different people. It would be too crowded in one place, so you can create two different canvases as well as creating two different customer personas. The value proposition, to me, this picture of this, if you get this right, it really ties up what a particular customer segment, your proposition.
Where do you start? You start here and then move to.
People start in different places, but some people start with their, well, this is my proposition. And does it? You should be listing these separately, and then seeing if they match, not trying to make it work.
Right.
What you want to do here is find the gaps. You actually want to, so rather than go, that must match that, you must think about, well, this is my customer segment. What do they gain from the jewelry?
Mm.
What are the big gains?
Mm.
Okay. In terms of customer jobs, what is it doing for them? I mean, it's dispensing. It's doing for them, making them feel good, or jewelry, the things about it's actually doing for them.
Okay.
What are the pains that this particular for this particular segment? And then you're looking, once you've listed that and you've listed your pain relievers and your gain creators, you're looking to see how closely they match.
Right.
The big mistake I think a lot of people make with this is they try and make a match rather than put them down honestly.
Mm.
So you need to do some work on this
Yeah.
one. It's fine, this is what it's all, but the key to it is really think about your value proposition.
Mm.
Really think about the gains. Really think about the pain relievers, your products and services. Grace actually had quite a good one. You might want to go back and look at how Grace did hers. Then it's the particular customer segment.
Mm.
Not now looking at that,
Okay.
now looking here.
Mm.
And then when you've created it, have a look. Does gain creators match gain? Where's it missing? What are we? What you're really trying to do is frame your value proposition.
Yeah.
Then you can go back almost to your lean canvas and redo your value, some of the stuff there, just so it matches. So this is a working document. All of these are working documents, actually, because it's all about running experiments from these. These are just all hypotheses.
Yeah.
These are all, you think that that's the jobs, their jobs. Just the more you get into that, you think this is their gains.
Mm.
It's all about matching this with this eventually, but first of all, doing it independently.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? Any questions on the value proposition canvas for people either online or in the room? Because it's quite an important document and it's not obvious. Emma?
I actually would like to you to explain to them how it works, how the jewelry.
Brilliant.
So there's different types, but this is an example. And this would obviously come in different colors like silver and rose gold. And have you ever seen like lava beads bracelets?
Yeah.
They're like porous rocks. They're quite popular now. They're little black beads, but they look like stones. They're porous, like a pumice stone around your wrist. They're very porous, so you put an essential oil on it, say lemon, citrus, or something you blended yourself, and it diffuses that scent throughout the day, a bit like a diffuser. And so it would come in like a package, obviously a beautiful box, with an essential oil, as an example. You place it on the whatever's diffusing it. This could be a bead, but this is like a felt ball. Close it up, and then you wear it as a necklace, or you could also wear it as a bracelet, and then you have this to kind of help. The science behind how smells affect our mood, and it would alleviate your stress levels. But there's different types of anxiety jewelry that you can get. Fidget jewelry, fidget rings, that help with people that have like nervous tics or ADHD and things like that.
I like jewelry and I like
Any other questions from the room?
First of all, I really like the idea. It seems a bit similar. It makes me think of those magnetic bracelets, but it's different, obviously. I was wondering, do you provide also let's say, the essential oil?
Yeah, it would come with a little sample, but again, I had a really good conversation, so it would just be a small amount, and then you'd come back and
you come back.
Yeah.
And have you thought about the metal that you're going to use? Have you considered the allergies?
That metal has to be like a stainless steel, so it doesn't corrode. But in terms of the necklaces, that was a 14-karat gold plated, and they'd have to be a high quality because there's no point in it's gonna turn you green. Yeah.
Questions?
Thank you. I just think one was going to mention allergies as well, just in terms of like the essential oil. But also I want to take on to like children in schools and things, because obviously they have a lot of fidget.
Yeah.
They have things in their body, people with autism. other neurodiversity and things like that. I mean, it might be an area where it could be really
Yeah.
kind of playful and childlike with something, I don't know.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Thank you. Something I'd look down maybe further down because things like things breaking off and stuff, it's a different level of safety. Yeah.
Chris?
Yeah, just simply how much is it going to cost, or is there a range of prices?
I've because I've made jewelry for a while, I understand it has to be very scalable. Because if I've got an order for 50 and I've got to make it, that's stressful. So I'm looking at things that are easily easily put together and are still high quality. So I'm not too sure. I think it's about the numbers.
Brilliant. I've got an online.
Mario wants to ask a question.
Mario, just before you ask your question, Mario, Eduardo's got a question about the customer jobs on the Mark. I know you're here to but you're very good at these customer jobs, and you've always questioned me on these.
There's no quick answer to it, but if you Google jobs to be done, there's some interesting theory there. It's what is it that the customer is trying to achieve, and how is your thing helping them progress that job? So it's not just a job title, it's what's the thing that your customer is trying to get done.
Yeah. So yeah. Okay. Thank you. That's simple. And but it's an easy one to Google, is it?
Yeah. Jobs to be done.
Jobs to be done.
Actually, the link you sent me on LinkedIn had a video about jobs to be done and the theory behind it. So
Right. Okay. I'll distribute that video then at the end to everyone.
Is that the famous one about the milkshake?
yes,
That's the one.
Yes, that's the one. That's the one. Yeah. No, I'll distribute that at the end to everybody. Mario, please. You have a question?
Yes, a real quick one. You mentioned earlier, and then you mentioned in the documentation that you have, that you're targeting the 25 to 45-year-old. Is that correct? That's your demographic?
yeah, 20.
So how did you arrive at that demographic? Do you have any data that has proven to you that would be the one and only area that you should target?
I do have some data. So from my experience of just selling on Etsy, not this range, other non-functional jewelry, it tends to be an older demographic. So women late 30s to early 40s. But the data behind anxiety in the UK and who's Googling anxiety relief, it predominantly affects women, or at least the statistics say that women are speaking up more about anxiety, and they are within that age range. So they're most likely to be looking for products on Google to relieve anxiety. That would also be within the jewelry.
Brilliant, brilliant. Okay, I'm gonna have to finish now, but you've got your. Maybe 26. If anybody wants to join, just want to have ask their questions, and again, room 1 on the Zoom link. Now we've got an online presentation. So from the room here, we've got Antonio. I don't know how this will work, but Antonio, are you there?
Yeah, sorry about that. I was trying to find the Zoom link. I just went back to our emails and I was a bit just found this.
No problem. You're here. Let me call up your idea. So 1 second. Right. No, it's not here. So which idea is it, Antonio? Just as can you see
my mindset?
Sorry.
I think you just scrolled past it. It's just down a bit.
Millionaire mindset. Where is it?
There it goes.
There it is. Okay, so millionaire mindset. So there's Antonio, what I really want to do for the room and for people online is, can you just give us a little bit of background of how you came up with this, about the idea itself and what led you to looking at solving this problem?
Okay. Hi. So my name is Antonio Ferreira. I'm a university student. So basically, Million Mindset is just about encouraging youth of mind and just like helping youth have like just the mindset of just working hard and being ambitious, because I think that's really lacking, because like as social media, everything is negative. with a lot of clothing, I see a lot of trending is just to be more negative to sell. So I thought it would be a bit of a gap for me to make something more streetwear, but also positive for the youth. That was the idea behind it, just something more of like a positive push with like a streetwear authentic vibe to it.
Okay, so it wasn't so much you just wanted to come up with some clothing. You were thinking right from the outset about the sort of people that you were creating this for.
Well, kind of when I first it was just more of like as I went on, I just took it more seriously, because when I started, I didn't know anything about clothing. It was just something like a passion hobby. And I thought, what ways could I make myself different? What's as true to myself? Because I didn't want to pretend how to be something I'm not, but also slightly different or be positive. I thought millionaire mindset just makes sense, because anyone can have a millionaire mindset. You don't have to be a millionaire. You can just have a hard work mindset of a millionaire.
So, I mean, in many ways, it sounds to me you're creating a brand as much as you're creating a product.
Yeah, it's like I'm trying to create like a community of it, just like or just makes it slightly different.
That makes sense. Well, if it's okay with you, I'm going to share your data room. Let me open your data room, and so your documents here. Which documents would you like me to open? Your lean canvas?
Can do. I've got my laptop here as well.
Are you able to share yourself then?
Right now I'm using my phone. I've got my laptop here, so I can click on what you're saying and click on the lean canvas right now.
Yeah, but people won't be able to see it on your laptop. Okay, let's have a look at what you've got here that I can at least show on screen. You haven't put it into the PDF, so we're going to have to. It's a good job we've had a look at some of these before, that we have a rough idea of what the lean canvas is. So
I can explain what I was trying to put. I wasn't able to finish it, but I can link for the unfair advantage and the problems and also the unique value of it.
Again, Antonio, what we're looking to do here is to help you with your idea, to understand your idea, and to have a look at what you've done. And this is what we need to focus on. Could you talk about the problem you're solving here?
One problem is because right now I'm by myself, is more just like pushing out products, more products, for having people to choose from. By solving this problem, I'm looking at outsourcing me in the future, so then I can get my products cheaper and I can sell for a higher price. That's one issue.
This is the problem. If you were you able to see any of the other sessions beforehand that we looked at the problem that you're solving for customers, the problem out there in the market?
Oh, in the market, yeah. Well, one problem I believe I'm solving is more having a positive narrative for the clothing, pushing more positivity around the clothing. I think that was one problem in society, of just pushing negative connotation.
So that's so you're rolling a problem and solution up together, which is fine. Which is you're looking at a positive mindset, I guess, towards clothing, and particularly for a particular customer segment. What's your unique proposition here then? Is there anything unique other than the mindset?
I think with my connections, as I've been doing, I've made connections in America and also UK. So I have a lot of different connections, which I think makes me slightly different, not just artists, YouTubers and internet personalities. From a small brand in the UK, I think that really makes me slightly different as well, because I have different people I can go to and who happily advertise my clothing for free as well. So I think that gives me one unique advantage over most people.
Right, but can anyone else do this? I mean, this is the near unfair advantage side. This is all about can anyone... I
believe anyone can do it, but with mine, I've actually built like a connection. So mine is more of I can do it for free. So mine, I think I got more of free space to do other things, because with other people may have to pay, which if you don't have the budget it could be an issue with me. It's more of a mutual friendship, which I can just keep on growing, which leads me to have more other friendship groups. Mine is it's not just limited in the UK. I'm also in America.
Okay. And who are you targeting? Who are your segments?
Well, the most people who follow my Instagram are people of my age, around to like, I think it was like 18 or 18 to 24 who follow my Instagram. So it was around people of like the youthful age around 17 to 25. But I would want to expand it to people who are 30 bit mature. But as I'm still growing, I'll still have to like advertise people of the youth, then try gradually just move to like all the audience by just maybe reaching out to people a bit older who have more of like a reach to people older, but right now it's just more of a youthful.
Okay, and the channels that you're gonna target the younger people on, TikTok?
Yeah. What I'm on mostly is Instagram and TikTok. That's what really grows. And I'm on Facebook, but I haven't been as active. I've left Facebook, so it's mostly Instagram and TikTok. But Instagram is the most where I get the most results from where I get my most insight and everything.
Okay. Just a question on other people, on, I say competitors, but existing alternatives. Is there anywhere else people can go to get something similar?
I think with clothing, everyone can get somewhere else, but I think it's more of how you advertise yourself we can make you different, because I know can get clothing off the website. So
this is more of a brand. And just the last thing on this before moving on is, do you have the way it's high level concept, YouTube for Flickr videos, Flickr for equals Flickr for videos. Do you have a high level concept at all?
Well, I use like a editing app which I edit my videos. Like I may make a video of maybe like behind photo shoot.
No, what I mean is like an analogy. So this is I'm trying to think of an analogy to. Okay, I can't think of an analogy for your concept here. Does anybody else can they think of an analogy? Clothing for, I don't know.
Like a slogan.
Yeah, a slogan.
Or something like press like it, something like that. Yeah.
I don't have like one slogan I use. I just made one my personal favorites. The greatest risk is not taking any risk. But I think it's a bit too long. I'm still figuring out one good slogan. I do use like different words for like different, maybe like clothing or maybe on my website. Like one on my website, dare to chase your dreams. But I haven't found that one specific slogan just yet. Just throw it out.
It's more about the concept, but okay, let's have a look at what else you've done on here in your room. Any other documents you want to particularly focus me on? Any of the customer documents?
Well, I can show you. That's is what I did, and I was.
Are you able to screen share? Because I thought you were going to be able to screen share.
It would be hard because I'm literally using my phone and laptop at the same time, because I don't really know how you do that. Because I didn't even know how to even get the room I was trying to find. So I just got my laptop open, but I can see what you're doing, and I can click.
We need to be able to see you, Antonio, to see your laptop. But it's not. If it's not.
It depending if I can just like turn on my video and I have to flip my camera, but I don't think people will be able to see it as good.
Screen share works.
Is the test card in the data room?
Let's have a look at your test list. Yeah, let me just scroll down. Okay, we've got a test card here. Okay, let's have a go at this. Let's have a look at this. So you've got, so what's your hypothesis? Your hypothesis is we believe, to talk us through your hypothesis on your test card.
I was believing that because there's a area in Chicago known as O Block, is a really hip hop influenced place. I thought because as my clothing is surrounded by the youth, I thought it would be very intelligent idea just to get like a promo there. So I believe it would be able to boost my brand with likes and following. I don't think it would add sales because I don't have like American audience, but I believe it would add its value to my product. So that was the hypothesis. And I was going to measure it by seeing the followings and by the likes. That's how I was going to measure it through.
Okay, it's a little bit difficult for us here to look at it in the same framework we've been looking with the other founders. I think maybe it might just make sense to have you done any validation work on this? Where are you with collecting data?
I do data collecting all right now. I've posted like 4 design ideas for people to choose. I've already got one won the vote. So that's what I do all the time. I do voting and on what products people want to see and what they want to see in the future. Their opinion, they could drag opinions on the clothing, anything like that. But the one thing that I'll talk about is burger. I've already done that. It's already been done. I've wrote the hypothesis and I've already done that. Already got the results from that.
Okay. And in terms of have you got any pre-orders for the
I haven't done pre-orders yet. I'm planning to do that after now I've seen the results from the vote. I'm gonna try to do pre-orders now, but I haven't done that yet. No.
Okay, I've just got so we've got some chat here online. So Janet said, I guess an unfair advantage for Antonio could be that he embodies a millionaire mindset and has the qualities that enable him to freely associate with successful people. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. That's some good feedback for you. That's some good feedback for you. Thank you very much for that. We've also got Sarah asking, have your followers ever bought a product from you already?
Yeah, not a lot. If I want to be completely transparent, I made my website 2 months ago and I've only had 3 sales. But before my website, people were just messaging me on Instagram and I would just give it to them by like my friend driving and would just give it to them. I couldn't tell you the rough amount because a lot of them was mixed with my friends and few strangers. I'm not too sure how many, but on the website it was just about 3.
Okay. Anybody got any questions for Antonio?
Yeah, there's one
Oh,
more.
there's- We'll just take one from the room first. That's Pamela.
Yeah, how many followers do you have?
How many followers do you have?
Right now I'm sitting on 257 followers.
257. Okay, 257.
Yeah.
And we've got a question, or we've got a couple of questions. So how are you going to compete with the other artists and YouTubers that are launching clothing lines with positive messages associated to it?
That's why I do collabs, because I understand that I have a bigger competition. I think to beat people like that, you just collab with them and you just message them saying you're interested in the product, you want to work with them. That's what I try to do. I always message people who have a bigger audience than me and try to work with them, meet them halfway. Then when I get to a point where people like know my brand properly, I think that's when I can be more different stuff. But right now, yeah, I just try to collab with people who have more following than me.
And would you say that you're the hallmark of urban wear for a high level concept?
Yeah, I believe so, but not there yet. But that's where I'm trying to aim for.
Okay. Antonio, thank you very much. Thank you for putting that in there. If you want to go to breakout room 1, and anybody wants to join you there, to join Antonio, just go into breakout room 1. We're going to stop here now for 40 minutes. We're going to have a lunch break. We're going to have a nice rest. We've been working through some really good ideas. We've got a few more to go this afternoon. What I hope people are beginning to gather is that there's a whole range of approaches that people are taking to this customer validation problem and how they're filling in the same lean canvases or customer profiles or test cards, and for it to give you an idea, how to approach it, the way that you think would be best for your particular idea. Being an entrepreneur is all about experimenting. What we're trying to show you here is that it's not just, I've got an idea, I'm going to build a product, and then I'm going to find some people to buy it. That's That's unfortunately the big reason that businesses fail, because they just don't get it right there. So all of these canvases are so boring, but they bring you right to the crux of your idea.
But actually, they're not boring. I didn't find anything boring.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Yeah.
Because they are, I mean, you're learning about your own idea as well as other people's. And actually, the more time we spend looking at how other people are developing their ideas, how they filled in their canvases, the more we get to understand the document, the more we get to understand our own ideas. And entrepreneurship's about the doing. You know, the unfair advantage for most people, you're an entrepreneur. One of the things that this exercise has pointed out to me as in this process is the number of people that initially listed they'd like to be part of the Startup Hackathon. Got an idea, I want to launch a business. I'll launch a business in September. So you're given this. Oh, that's a lot of work. Running a business is quite hard work, honestly. And then it's, yeah, but I wouldn't be able to do that. I could do it the weekend, but I'm playing football. And again, can't imagine Elon Musk saying that, could you? So it's a case of doing these things is doing the hard work up front. The last thing anyone wants to do is to launch a business, to spend lots of money, lots of time, and it's just wasted. It's a bit like Jake said at the beginning, just the whole wastage side of things. So this is why we're taking this approach. We're going to go through some more this afternoon, some really interesting ones this afternoon. And it's pretty much going to be the same format. So please come and join us. We start again in about 40 minutes time. In terms of lunch, get yourself online, get yourself lunch. In terms of here, we're not providing lunch, but I believe there's some places you can get some snacks and some places around. We've got some tea and coffee, some biscuits, and I will see you back here in about 40 minutes.
Shall I pause the recording?
Shall we pause the recording? Right, good afternoon, everybody. Back to our second part of this Startup Hackathon. It's going to take very much the same format as the first part. We're going to go through people's ideas. We're going to look to hack their ideas. We're going to be looking at their lean canvas. You'll have got the hang of it by now, the customer personas. We'll try and focus on a little bit more on some of the other documents that we haven't covered as much so that you're familiar with the other documents. But essentially, it's still very much looking at how to frame an idea towards customers. The one thing I wanted to point out to you as well when we're doing this is with many of the founders, they've started the process a while back. We've been working over the past few weeks on the data room, on their validation experiments, on the things that you see here. But it's also a validation, not just of their idea, it's of where they're getting to as an entrepreneur. Because there's some, not the ones that are here, but some that originally started the process, put their ideas into Ideas Nest that are no longer in the main hackathon nest. What they started doing is saying, well, oh gosh, this is a lot of work. And then it became quite clear to them, they're not ready to launch. They're not ready to pursue their idea. It doesn't mean to say they're not going to make great entrepreneurs. It just means that they're not really ready to be an entrepreneur today. They're not. So a lot of this hackathon is not just the idea, it's the entrepreneur themselves. Again, it's all in the execution, not the idea. The ideas evolve, as we'll see here. If we come back to many of these ideas in a few months' time, we'll see an evolution towards new customers, an evolution of the idea as they start to get into contact with customers. So the process here is on idea validation, doesn't just validate the idea, it's the entrepreneur themselves. And there's a big fear in entrepreneurship of launching a business. There's a big fear of failure. So many people don't actually launch, they just tinker with their products. They tinker with what they're doing because they're afraid of the rejection of nobody getting involved and buying their product, of it failing. If you take the approach we're looking at, you take the approach of doing idea validation up front, it's a soft landing into customers. It's a soft landing into finding out what people want. There isn't any failure because you're experimenting. The mindset is different. It's rather than, oh my gosh, there's no customers. It's, well, our job is to find out where they are and to find out what segments they're in and what they look like and all the things that we're doing here. So it's two parts, idea and entrepreneur. So that's what I just really wanted to highlight. I also wanted to highlight another couple of things. Chris pointed out one of our Ronnies there, Chris, another one not called Ronnie, pointed out that when people are on Ideas Nest, and have I got my screen share on? Yes. So if people are on Ideas Nest, this is where you can submit your ideas. Let me just go back to, this is a hackathon nest. There are different nests in here. So an Ideas Nest where you can submit your ideas. So this is the one for hackathon. There are more ideas than you'll see presentations over the next few days, next couple of days. We have different private nests on here. So AIU London have their own private nest. We have different nests on here, but we also have a public nest, and everything's free, by the way, on all of this. Again, some ideas in the hackathon are in the public nest. Other ideas for other nests are in here. Lots and lots of ideas. This is a place to list your ideas. Everything's framed. We just take any idea from not on the hackathon here. What idea this is? Again, everything's framed to give an overview. I've chosen an interesting one here. Always choose a cute puppy, I guess. Idea overview, all about framing it for customers. Who might it be for? Who might use it? What sort of market is across these checklists? What sector? Why do you think there's demand for your idea? Who would be the ideal customers? Again, all about just framing your, this is the basic starting point of thinking about this customer. And people can leave comments in here and for people that have put their ideas. So it just gives them some basic feedback. So this is our starting point, and this is where we started the Startup Hackathon. List an idea into, in this case, the Hackathon nest, in a framework that we can start to work with it well before we go into the data room and the documents there. The other thing to point out to people is, and actually I'll put could we put Ideas Nest in the chat at some stage?
Yeah, we can put the link.
Just put the link in, yeah, ideasnest.com. And just the other thing before we do that is to point out, yeah, we have a community. So founders and mentors, that's the 12 Ronnies community. It's actually a network of communities, a whole group of different communities. So we have a network itself, which has, I go to the home page with a newsfeed, as everybody's used to. All the members on here, events that are being run, that we're running, but we also have a whole bunch of communities on here. So this is the Startup Hackathon community. If I look in here, what we have here is over the last few months, we've been showcasing ideas, we've been running events, we've been communicating about each other's ideas. So this is the whole interactive online part on Ideas Nest. So some of you here, I see your names, you've been interacting on here. I've been posting to help you get feedback. Mentors have been commenting. So for everybody, this is a really good place to get feedback on your ideas. List them on Ideas Nest, join a relevant community, show your ideas, and you can get for free feedback. If you then start to, as we'll learn with it, as you've been learning with the data room, you can start to post, if you want to, your lean canvas or your customer profile for feedback. So as the same we're doing here, you can now look for an online audience, or you can say my customer, my channel is through Instagram, but I'm not really good with Instagram. Can anybody help me? So it's all about, there's a whole community on here of people that want to be helpful, either co-founders or other founders, people starting businesses, mentors and advisors. So this whole community, and it's All of these can be found at 12ronnies.com, and you'll see the product section. So all of the different things we do, they're all free. But Founders and Mentors is our community, and Ideas Nest is where we store the ideas. So that's sort of showcasing what we do and how we approach things. If you're able to put the links in, I guess we start with 12ronnies.com and then and then Ideas Nest. Okay, what we're going to do, following on from this morning, we're going to try and hack another idea. So let me.
Yeah, sure.
So just before we do that, I wanted to. Where is the agenda for this afternoon? We're hacking ideas. So we've got Maxine on first. Then we're going to spend a little bit more time with, again, going through in some more detail. And then 3 more rapid sessions to hack their ideas before the end. So it's not too far away in terms of the end of the day, but it's worth you paying attention to the different ideas on here and the different ways that we approach it. So Maxine, would you like to come and join us? I'm going to have to use this for you.
Yeah, no, don't worry.
No, actually, no.
No, then you will question.
You can input it and then I'll.
Okay.
I wanted to. And then we'll show some ideas Nest in a second. Maxine, right, before we show it on Ideas Nest, tell us a little bit about how you came up with your idea and what it is.
Okay, so I'm a teacher and I'm a parent. And as a teacher, I realised that children, obviously we know some children struggle with reading, some children excel with reading, but we know that in the classroom you see children and they don't really necessarily enjoy reading so much. And actually from 2005 up till more recently, about 48%, it's ranged between 48% to 51% of children are enjoying reading. That's like half of a class, half of a school actually enjoy reading. And it's not really good enough because reading sets us up for life, really. And as a parent, I've got like a 9, 7 and a 2-year-old. A 2-year-old, by the way, his favourite subject was eating books. So he literally ate the book. No, he didn't do his early reading. But my 9 and 7-year-old, especially my 9-year-old, when she got to like 7ish, I didn't know what books to get for her. I'd in a WhatsApp chat, I'd ask, what books do you suggest? And it's always the same book. So there was this book called Dork Diary that kids absolutely love, the girls love it. But it's a great book, but it's not challenging. The language isn't challenging, the question isn't challenging. And it's always the same books that the girls and the boys like. So it was a case of I thought, why can't the kids just recommend books to each other? And then lockdown happened, and then we're all home, and then we've got our children at home, and we see the struggles as a parent and the teachers as well. And it's like actually we need more than that, just than recommending each other. And then when you look at the type of children, how they range, things sometimes are accessible for just one the higher ability children or the children that in the middle. But if I want to do something where the idea is for children to publish book reviews for each other. And the reason why you say published book reviews is because they're going to be creative book reviews. They can be through art, if someone can access art. They can be written. They can be through audio. I've got something called rap poems where they can do a rap poem of a book review. And
sorry, just stop for 1 second. Which idea is it?
So it's called Kubel.
Where is it?
It was at the top, because I've only recently. It was at the top. Probably it's on the private nest.
Oh, it's on.
Yes, it was at the,
You know this better than I do.
Only because, I've only been doing it recently, so that's why
Here we go. So what's interesting here, we've got a real focus on education and education. So I think we're covering the basics with maths and reading. Yeah, I love it. Oh, here it is. Yeah. Great. Sorry,
I like the name.
do you know what? I took ages, as I'm sure everyone does, finding a name. So I literally hunted for ages, loads of quick names, like easy names like The Book or something, they're all gone. So Kubel, actually, if you look at it backwards, it's got book, B-O-O-K backwards. If you take out the B, it says look backwards. And if you pretend the K is a C, it says cool. So I want it to be through book. Where
you really have thought about this, haven't you? But by the way, thank you. A tip here, a lot of people try and think of a name first for what they're doing in a brand first. And then the idea changes once they start to get to customers, and then they've spent all their time and money. So it's it's not a recommended thing to do until you know your customers, because you're developing a name and a brand and a website for your customers, not for your own vanity. So
And I
it's
can identify that because I spent ages looking for the logo, ages. And now when I kind of think of what I'd like it to look like, it's nothing like the logo. So this isn't the logo, this is just me randomly doing something so I can identify.
brilliant. And yeah, no, that's wonderful. Should we jump into your data room and see what else? So same format as this morning, let's find data room. Where am I looking?
Maxi.
You can tell she's a teacher.
Okay. And you have a tidy room.
Yeah, I haven't been told to tidy it and I did do it. I didn't know at all.
Right, oh gosh, we've got other folders as well. This is very good. Right, let's start with your lean canvas. And now I know how to expand them and move them around. Yeah. Can everybody see? Shall I make it larger? Let's make it larger. Area. There we go. So let's start with, again, the problem. If you could talk us through the problems and the existing alternatives.
Yeah.
That really you're focusing your idea on.
Yeah, I mean, there's 3 problems that I've noted here, top 3, and it's like one is parents knowing what books to buy for their children. I really struggled with that, and I know a lot of parents do. And 2 is, the second one is like having a reluctant reader at home. You know, you might have some children that excel, that enjoy books, and some children that actually just don't want to read. Or when they get to a certain age, obviously then they're switched off from books. Maybe more boys than girls, but not always. And then the 3rd one is finding it difficult to support your children at home. And it could be different things. It could be due to not having your child not wanting to read, but it could be sometimes like for me, I was working as a teacher, I worked full time, and I realised after lockdown that I just literally didn't have time to work with my children.
Yeah.
So at time, like parents working full time, sometimes don't have time to engage with their children, to read with their children. They don't have the language skills to work with their children. They might have dyslexia themselves in terms of reading, and they can't, especially in lockdown, there's so many parents that couldn't support their children at home.
Yeah.
Because they actually don't have those skills. So there's the 3 problems. And so the solutions I've identified.
Before you go to solutions,
Yeah.
How are these solved? What's
Interestingly,
at the moment?
Well, interestingly, I spoke to someone today, and I know, and so there's perhaps another site called Book.
Night Zookeeper. So my kids are 7 and 9, and I said, oh, they just signed up in this site that they're going crazy about. So I'll hear about it as well. Yeah, they've gamified it, and my kids, I could not get them off it. Yeah.
Which is actually something similar to what, well, I haven't looked at it in detail, but it might be something similar to what I want to do, which scares me, because I'm like, no.
No, but that's why you want to look into all this before you end up doing something that's already being done.
Yeah, that review site. I don't know if it's a review site, but I know it's a kind of learning site. But there's another review site as well that, because what the focus is, I want kids to be reviewing books for kids.
Yeah.
So a lot of
that's what I got out
adults. Yeah. A lot of it is adults reviewing, but I want the children to review. I want them to review in their own language, whatever language and expression they want to do it in. And so far I've just found one site that kind of does that kind of thing. And also because of the parents, sometimes to give parents support as well, I want the parents to get feedback on their children's learning, because the schools will tell them their child is working in whatever way.
Yeah.
They don't know, I think they don't know what that looks like.
No.
So it's giving them, what does that look like at home? What does their child's learning in their home environment?
Oh, brilliant. And your solution, so the actual thing that you're doing.
So I've got doing the review service for kids, by kids, creative reviews, not just your written reviews. I've got incentivizing them, which is a bit like what you're saying with that thing, through games, again, through the creative reviews, but through games and through rewards and through fun activities. I want to give them challenges. So for example, and linking it with their learning. So for example, if they had to learn very simply to describe a character, very simple thing, setting a challenge for them to describe a character around a book that's there.
Yes.
Just for them to engage in it and have some kind of time limit to it, and to make it fun for them to want to engage with that book. And then the 3rd one is kind of in-person workshops and information banks for parents to know what meaning of things are. The educational technology is sometimes really confusing.
Can parents already get this?
They probably, well, I don't know if they can probably get it through YouTube, because YouTube, you can get anything on YouTube.
Yeah.
So they will be able to, yeah.
Filter through it.
Yeah.
And in terms of your unique value proposition, so again, it's a clear, compelling message. So this feels like a long message.
I just had to look online to see what a value proposition is. I had to look online.
No, we've got a value proposition canvas to break this down, but it's more about, it's slightly different than the one-liner high-level concept. But it's in terms of, if you were to explain it in just a sentence or two, how would you explain it? So take that. Could you crystallize that down further? So you've got a unique creative book club for children and their families. So, but the thing I got most from reading your idea when you put it on Ideas Nest was the whole review side of it. So I think that's what really struck out to me. Whereas in here, review seems hidden in one of the. So I'm just trying to think where, if anybody could help us here, both online or there, with trying to think of something that is a clearer value proposition, one that's just a little bit shorter, and one that.
I think that's sensible. I mean, I just to introduce myself. I'm 30 years of working in publishing, so I know this area very well, so I can talk about it later. But I do think the review side is probably the thing that is differentiation, and particularly if people can vote for the book they like. So that the ones that are getting the most feedback and the most buzz come to the top, so that they're more noticeable.
And the other thing that this doesn't bring out so strongly to me in your value proposition that I think is really strong is it's not adult reviews.
Yeah.
And
absolutely. Yeah, that's the key.
Would it be something like Goodreads for kids? So Goodreads is where it's just adults reviewing.
Goodreads for kids is actually the high level concept. So that's.
Yeah, there are other Goodreads is the idea behind Goodreads is good, but essentially it was bought by Amazon about 7 or 8 years ago and they've done nothing with it since.
But it's the concept, isn't it?
Do better than Goodreads.
So Goodreads for kids, we've moved out. That's a great high level concept. I'm just wondering.
So maybe a unique reviews, a unique creative reviews book club for children and their families.
Yeah. And it is creative reviews because it's not just written, it's the art.
Yeah, it's the review system.
Yeah.
And also kids reviewing kids. That's one of the USPs. So it's like there's 2 lines there.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You also have to make sure, because as you know, being a teacher yourself, the different age groups within up to say 12, young adult, there's big differences between say 0 to 2, 4 to 2 to 4 and so on in the kind of books that the children would read. So you need to probably have some kind of different groupings for the different kinds of books.
And in terms of your unfair advantage, do you have an unfair advantage here? Can anyone else do
I
this?
think other people can do it,
It's that's fine. It's as I'm saying. It's sorry.
As Irish, actually listening to you, I came up with something that makes your idea unique to the one that Goodreads. I don't even know about it, but like I have an idea in mind. Like I've got something in mind. I'll tell you about.
Okay, amazing.
I think you make your.
You two need to talk then. There's a breakout room after this.
Appreciate it.
So unfair advantage. I mean, that's most people don't have an unfair advantage, so that's fine. It's your unfair advantage. You're going to work really hard at it and execute. Just come up with the idea.
So is it an app that you created?
It's just an idea at the moment, but I would like an app or website working towards an app. Yeah.
But Maxine, I don't believe that you have got unique selling points there. Because I'm very much into books.
Yeah.
And I don't believe there is any club. I mean, there is a review club for adult books.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there are 1 million readers in there.
Yeah.
But not for the children.
Okay.
So there is a unique selling point. Maybe you just have to research a bit more.
Okay.
So there is definitely for your. Okay.
And also align yourself with the publishers as well. For example, the Puffin Book Club is being established for probably 100 years. It's like it's been going for yonks. Although having worked in publishing, it's not the they are very small conservative when it comes to new ideas, so they're not so receptive. But if you can prove that it's working, and then go to people, then they're a nice bunch of people. So don't be afraid.
In terms of customer segments, so I just want to move because we could. So you just tell us a little bit about your customer segments.
Well, in terms of perhaps what you're saying is in terms of testing, one of the and also, to be honest with you, I don't know how it's going to make money. I know I should, but I do not know. I know how it can make money in the future once it's tested and stuff like that. But in this, at the moment, I don't know how to make money because I want it to be accessible for everybody. So some families they might have the money, but they won't want to invest in their children in that way, or they might not be able to. And I want all children to be able to.
In my experience, if you've got something that people want, if it's desirable, there's a customer need, you'll find a way of monetizing it.
Yeah, and I'm sure. Yeah,
you'll find a way. Yeah. Unless it just is ridiculous, it doesn't become viable because it costs so much more to make.
Yeah.
Than people are willing to pay for, and then things get.
And maybe a check, do not go to them and say, oh, it doesn't matter, you can't pay, it's fine, because that's what happens, because then they won't pay.
Yeah.
So.
Because I was going to say, in terms of customer segments, one of the ways for testing it was to do some workshop in schools, to do like basically replicate this as a school workshop. So schools would be one of the customer segments. And I've got children 5 to 13 because there's some children they're starting to learn and develop their reading skills up to 13 because some 13-year-olds are still there developing their reading skills and not necessarily they've been able to read, but able to understand and comprehend and make influences and stuff from the books. I've got libraries in terms of, like I said, to test it. I could test it in libraries. I could test it in bookshops, kind of testing this area. Sorry, I apologise, I closed. Sorry.
That's okay.
Sorry.
That's okay.
We're having a workshop. I feel that's a typical teacher as well.
Yeah, I was looking at her and I was looking at screen and I was like, okay.
And there is a phase one, and there's other phases. Like I would like to do some tutoring because one way that's really impactful is when children read. Peer-to-peer learning is very powerful.
Yes.
So if there's a way that in the future children can read to each other online, because they do it in the classroom, but in the homes, if parents can get that support at home with their children reading with other children, or having reading workshops that they can go to, that's what I would like to do.
And the early adopters.
I just put children's family stories. Put in the local area.
No, see, I like this one. No, I really like this. I don't see this very often when they talk about early adoption. I'm really thinking micro, really focusing in. If you're looking for a whole global audience straight away, and so it's really hard because that's not a focus. And you really want to get a beachhead into a market and then expand your market. You want a niche that you can really win and understand. So if that's South London area. I mean, it's still a pretty big area, but it's that's how a lot of business, very successful businesses, start locally and then grow. Start locally and then grow. Even the big online businesses. So I do like that.
We have a question online.
Oh yes.
So the biggest competitor here is Kindle Kids. How will you contribute?
To be honest with you, I apologise. I haven't looked at Kindle Kids, but I wonder, is it the adults writing the reviews? That would be something I will investigate, because like I said, most websites now are adults writing, where this is about children writing them.
And it seems like with obviously Kindle, they're trying to sell a product, whereas it sounds like your idea is review focused.
Yeah.
And then everything else will be peripheral.
Yeah.
Like products.
Yeah.
And Maxine, sorry to talk over.
No, it's fine.
I just didn't want to forget my question. Have you thought about safeguarding as well?
Yes, I've got a GDPR concept. To be honest with you, in March I was kind of doing this, and all of a sudden someone told me all about GDPR, and I was like, stopped in my tracks. Honestly, I just couldn't move because it's such a huge, my brain couldn't function, but I've got a consultant that can support me on that. And I don't know if I can do the videos. I'd like children to be able to do audio, video, sorry, of themselves doing book reviews. I don't know if it's possible because of GDPR. And,
So the comments of.
yeah.
Yeah, there are ways around it because children upload to YouTube.
Yeah.
I think as long as the parents agree, you know, so you just get kind of consent from the parents.
Yeah.
And I've also got an idea for monetizing, like even before the parents start paying you for their children reviewing other books, you could get, and they could be early adopters, people who published books themselves, so people who've written storybooks themselves. Like I wrote a couple of storybooks, maths, relating maths to real life, but then reviewing them is like, okay, put it on Kindle and then wait for an adult to review them. Well, if I could put it into this site, and I'm looking at other people who've done the same, and there are whole groups on Facebook that point this to some of them who are writing children's books right now, and I'd love it to be reviewed. If they're reviewed by children, and they've got 10 reviews or 20 reviews, and they're saying, and they have to pay, I don't know, £1 per review or £2 per review or whatever, for those, they get reviewed, and then they know that they get sales. The reason a business person would do that is because when they get reviews, they're more likely to get sales, and they can go to the top. If they get 200 reviews, and all the kids are saying it's bad, they can easily go to one of, you know, maybe the publisher where he worked at before and say, hey, look,
we've got this evidence.
I'm smiling here because this is a general hackathon. It was just a bunch of ideas, but it happens to be that some of you have some in the same sector. A lot of the intention going forward is to run sector-specific hackathons where I think people will be able to give feedback because you're in the same industry. So the founders you're as much as an expert as any of the mentors, other than their business sectors. And this is validating it for me. There's a few in the same sector, and then suddenly there's ideas cross-pollinating. So I really like this. So I'm going to move on to some of the sheets. We've got another 10 minutes left on here. So tell us about this.
I didn't originally have a name. I was have a name. So
have a name.
Sarah.
Yeah.
Why not Sarah? So what do we call her, Sarah?
Sorry. Yeah.
But she works a lot. She's got 3 children. She's a nurse. She works 4 days a week, and yet she still doesn't have enough time to invest in her children's learning as much as she would want to. She's got her husband as well has. This is my husband actually. This is not me, but my husband has dyslexia. So her husband, I thought, okay, her husband's got dyslexia, so he can't support with the children as much as he would like to as well, especially with reading. He's excellent at maths, but reading is a bit tricky for him. And she just, before COVID, since COVID, she's realised that actually she can't. She's realised through COVID, being at home, she realised she wants to do more for her children. She wants to support her children a bit more, particularly because one of her children lacks the motivation to read and needs that extra support. So she goes to, her kids go to holiday club because she's working. So in COVID, some of the times the kids went to school.
Actually, what I love about this is you've got a complete narrative. No, this is what it really needs to be. You know, you know her. And
yeah. Because she does tutoring, she gets tutors, she wants to provide home learning opportunities and gets her children reading, and she wants to just.
No, you've got her, and there'll be other people. I mean, you've done some other we got here. I thought you'd done some other beats.
No, just one business.
Yeah. But I really love it. The one I saw was the.
Have you done any B2Cs from the child's point of view?
I haven't actually, no. Yeah. To be honest with you, before this, I was struggling to think of a persona, but when I put in the place where I had to write one, I don't know if other people experience that, then it's like, oh, and all of a sudden it comes to you.
Yeah.
Whereas independently, when you're like, have to do these things, it feels like a.
Well, this is why having a structured way, having some PDFs to fill out, and once you understand what the question's actually asking, I mean, as you saw, you've got a whole narrative. You could probably really focus in on your profile. So, Miss M. Chap.
Yeah, she's a primary school teacher, and she does the reading lead. She's passionate. She's enjoys her school. She wants to get the kids learning in the school where she is. Some of the children, you know, there's a high level of pupil premiums, the children with different learning needs. It's quite high special needs compared to other schools as well. And
I'm always interested in messaging strategy for B2B because it's a little bit different. So I like what you put here because
originally I had messaging strategy for how they message to the school. So I had on there, you know, they write newsletters and things, but then you mentioned it's my messaging strategy.
it's your messaging to
so I changed
the
it.
business, not their messaging to.
I didn't realise, yeah.
No, that's really good. That's really good. That's actually strong messaging. Because you've got to think about this is a customer of yours. How are you actually going to put your message over? Sorry, you.
So Sarah is asking you a question. How can you be certain it is kids writing the review?
It's true, actually, and I suppose parents as well want to do the kids. They do the kids' homework sometimes, isn't it? Your children, you know, you always help out. Even GCSE, you've got like adults.
You call me.
Yeah, exactly. So it's true.
I wouldn't do anybody. I wouldn't do my kids review. I wouldn't even do it. Let alone reviews.
And also, I think it's not really necessarily, doesn't matter if the parent helps the child. It's about the child's voice, and whichever way the child wants to share their voice, I would say as well.
Well, I guess that's where video can come in.
Yeah.
If you're just doing like a Facebook thing or and
Yeah.
it's the kid in front of them just talking about the book.
Yeah.
I really like your value proposition.
I should have matched the blue. Now I realise I should have done blue. I matched the colours.
I'm not saying without looking at it, it's the best one here, but it's the most colourful and well presented. So this is clear. So with anything, you can have a really good canvas, but unless it's clear to read and match up, it's hard to work with. This is quite an easy one to work with. So it's much easier for us to look at this and say, so customer jobs, Mark's favourite aren't here. So what jobs is the customer jobs doing there? And you're looking at it here. You're looking at the products and services. So let's take us through. Let's take us through the gains. What do you see as the gains? Again, you've listed them all out here, but what I want to be able to do is for you to look at the gains and then see where your gain creators match, and if it's different in any way.
Yeah, I might have done the thing when you do it together.
Right.
Yeah.
The cheating.
Yeah, but I was just seeing a happy child and confident, reassured that a child is understanding and learning, and learning. Parents getting satisfaction and reassurance as well. I've got families talking about and buying their books. Like, if so, I've got this little author and illustrator kind of. So I understand when you say you can do different ones now, because if there was a one for authors and illustrators, for them it'll be families talking about and buying their books.
Yeah. So you do a different value proposition canvas for yes.
And I've got parents with ideas of what to get for their child, and then parents, importantly, seeing their child making progress and then achieving, not now, but obviously later in life in the future, as gains.
And then so but you've said you've matched them anyway. So
well, to be honest, I didn't do the gains crate, so I didn't know what it meant.
Right.
To be honest with you, but then you mentioned what they're going to do. How's that going to fit with that?
Yes.
So I did kind of do it afterwards, actually, that particular one. So I put children becoming independent with the books they would like to read. That would make them happy and confident. I don't know if that's the way to do it. I don't know, but I put.
Well, yeah. Once they're in there and you've sort of done it independently, then it's.
That particular one I did.
So these their gains. Have I got any gain creators that? Yeah. And that's how to think about it. It's like the pains and the pain relievers. What are their pains? What's this customer segment's pains? You've got a bunch of pain relievers in your value proposition. So this is how. So when you've done your canvas, I'll look at somebody's business model canvas maybe next, because it's very similar to the lean canvas. I prefer the lean canvas. That's what I've started on, and most people have started on that. But it's all about your canvas, your customer profiles, and then getting to know them. And then it's about the proposition to these customer segments. So this is how this should work before you come on to doing your tests. So no, very good. I won't elaborate. I just really like the layout of this. It's clear, it's concise. I know you've done the matching to the matching, but the best way to create it is independently and then review and then see, I've missed something, or I could actually, there's a job I could solve there, or there's a pain I could solve that I'm not solving here. So that's the way to start using this. So all customer orientated. Do we have any experiment data?
I kind of got some in
Testing learnings?
Yeah, just one or two maybe.
What do you want to show?
Test card. What it is, I had a in the beginning of the summer, I had a group, little WhatsApp group of 8 to 10 families, and I was going to start getting them to write some reviews with each other, and I showed to get some information and just through WhatsApp. But unfortunately, my daughter was unwell, so it went on hold. But I kind of, after getting this document, I thought I can actually pull out some tests from what I've already got from that.
Yes.
So I've got children, so one of them was, children will have access to their families' mobile phones to engage in a WhatsApp project. The children will be able to engage in it and send some information through WhatsApp. Not that I would do that in the future.
But that's your hypothesis, that you think they'll have access.
Yeah.
Verify it.
I'd do the.
Yeah, you went to the 8 to 10 families.
Yeah.
You wanted to measure the number of times child sends a message.
Yeah.
If you're right.
Yeah, 30%. Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah. So on the learning, I've done what?
Yes, I was going to say that
matches with it.
Card, our first learning card on this test. Learning card 1. So matching up. So what we haven't seen today is a learning card. It's our first of our learning cards. So we've run a test now. We've tested a hypothesis. What have we learned from the test? So again, we believed, that they have access, and this is what you observed.
So there was 66% of messages specifically about the children book of tasks. There was 66% of messages were sent about the children or the book or the task. But of those, 26 were sent by the children. Sent with 26. Basically, let me just not look at that. Basically, what I learned? What I found was that parents are controlling the WhatsApp, not the children. That's what I found.
So this is what you learned here.
Yeah.
From what you observed.
Yeah, from that data, which is making me tongue.
But that's really interesting, isn't it?
So yes, the child does not interact as often with adults' WhatsApp.
And this is the importance of what we're doing. There's an assumption made here, right at the beginning, that it would be the children and all of that were in the families. We're observing slightly different things and we're learning something. So you might end up modifying your messaging strategy, or you might modify how the usage is done, just from the learning cards. That's the important part. So your decisions and actions?
So I've said have an additional focus on adults, because I found that quite a lot of the adults in the other learning card, they wanted the information back. They wanted to know what some technical languages. They actually did engage highly with that, the parents. So I'd have an additional focus on adults to meet the parents' needs and requests. And then post tasks that adults can initiate, engage with their children. They quite often encourage their children, okay, go now. They told the children, go and get a book, or go and do this. And adults quite leading in it. Brilliant. And then fun challenges to support engagement for the children to engage with it. Yeah.
Really good, really good. And your other test, just quickly. Somebody. Sorry, people. We test up to. So different hypothesis. Families who want to receive information and tips about, so you believe that they'll want to receive this.
Yeah.
So you're going to send them information and tips to your test. What are you measuring? The number and quality of responses. When you say quality of responses, what do you mean by?
Just like quality in terms of if the response is, so it's not just saying yeah, but what they say and how they say it and the tone behind it's like kind of like an observational kind of test as well.
Okay, understood. And then the learnings. Nice to see some learning cards. So talk us through this. So you believe, so your hypothesis again was that they wanted to receive information. You observed the parents responded to posts. Quarter of them responded. That's a number of responses, to be honest.
Yeah, it's not bad. Yeah.
Parents.
And from each post, a quarter, responded. Yeah.
I think that's pretty high.
Yeah.
The sample's still quite small.
Yeah.
But if it can be rolled out to a bigger sample, you're still getting these results.
Yeah.
It's looking like you're on the right lines in terms of desirability for what you're doing.
Yeah.
Did you put anything in your val? I just closed everything down. I might need some temp.
It might be here now.
I think you might have just stopped sharing.
I'm not sure what there it is. I really have no idea now pressing here. What am I?
I'm not sure you're, I think.
I stop sharing.
What you find? Yeah, you could just.
Screen share.
It's this one, I think.
That one here. This one. Let me have a look. Sorry, technical.
You scroll up.
They're still here. Good. People are still here. Yeah, I've got this. Got it now. Right.
Yeah.
Where was I going with? Learning Hub 2, we went to, had a look at that.
He's asked me if there's anything else.
Oh, yes, sorry. What are the, thank you. Your data room, validation expected data?
It's based on, I didn't really know how to complete it. So I just kind of put in what's already been said, really. I didn't know what.
Yeah, but it's really nice to see that we've now got to a stage here where what Maxine's done is she's gone through her canvas. She's gone through her customer personas and profiles. She's looked at her value proposition canvas. She's done some tests. She's got some learnings and she's got some data. Now, all of this whole cycle is the entrepreneur's cycle to find out if there's customers. What Maxine's done here, and then it needs refining to a larger sample. It needs focusing on it. It needs relearning. And then with this sort of information, you have a level of confidence, or you'll get a level of confidence that you think there's customers out there for this. It's not just me thinking there is. The data is directing me towards that. And it's at that level, then you can look at making some decisions. So the three obvious paths are launch my business. There's customers. I feel really confident doing this. Or might want to get a bit more data. So I'm along the right lines, but it's not conclusive. It's leading me in some different directions. Let's do some more experimentation. Let's test some other hypotheses. I'm not spending lots of money at the moment, and I've got the time now to start experimenting. So let's do it now, because the minute I build this website and this app, I've spent money, and now I've got hosting costs, and now I've got all of these things. And if it's not right, then I've got to unpackage it all for customers. So this is the valuable time. Or you say, well, actually, the data's telling me something completely different. It's not for these people. It's not an app. It's not this. And we pivot to something else. The last thing you want to do is launch a business that's going to fail like the majority of them do. So it is this process and this continued process. So well done, Maxine. I really like your data room. I really like the experiments you've done. You focus on the canvases. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you.
She'll be in room 26, or on Zoom, she'll be in room 1, Zoom room 1. But for other people that are on Zoom, there's 10 open meeting rooms, I believe. Just check that they're still open. Breakout rooms. Oh, we have more. We've created some of you have created breakout rooms. This is really good. You can create as many as you want. The whole idea of the breakout rooms is room 1 is for the presenter. The other breakout rooms are for people online to say, let's have a chat, and the way we could do here in the room. So that's Maxine. Now we have our next hack, if you like, next hackathon on the list. We've got Marcia. So Hi, Marcia. Would you like to join us, Marcia? We can do it from here if you prefer, however you want to do, or sit here, or however you're comfortable, Marcia.
Oh, no, it's fine, fine.
Okay. We're just literally, I'm just going to ask a few questions about your idea. Let's try and find the ideas nest. Which one are you, Marcia? On here, let's just go. Which idea have we got? Which idea is it, Marcia?
Is embrace.
Your embrace, of course you are, yeah. It's here. Okay, so we're going to embrace. So Marcia's going to talk to us about embrace. I'm just going to click into it on Ideas Nest. Did you come up with this, Marcia? What's your background that you came up with this idea, and where did the thoughts originate from?
Well, long story short, back in 2018, 2019,
yeah,
I was diagnosed with cancer during my pregnancy. And one of the things I done, one day I sit down, very sad and sorry for myself, and say, okay, split out, upset. And then I clean my face, okay, embrace it, it's happened, and move forward. And from there, I had my baby. I got my shape back.
Straight away.
But that was because my mom, on my first pregnancy, she did take care of me, and she
supported you.
And she teach me how to take care of my body in a way that she said, after this, every time that you're gonna have a baby, you're gonna be okay. This time I didn't have my mom, but I had all the knowledge she passed to me, and everybody was asking, what? 3 children? So I've always been into fitness, and well-being. And one of the things I noticed, if we go to the changing room, the ladies have the waist trainers, they on their face, they put big shirts, or they believe they need to lose weight before go to the gym.
So they want to be perfect almost before they go.
You understand me? It's something. And actually, in that phase, I was.
I'm not a customer profile.
Oh, no. And actually, this time, because of everything that happened during my pregnancy, I got very big. And I said, oh, now I understand. Because before it was like, come on, just go and whatever. Just this time I felt in the first, personally, I will feel to be very big and try to go back, and all the emotions and the challenge, I say, okay, embrace it.
Embrace it. So what's the idea then behind?
So my idea is, the brain works the way you see, the way you behave. So my business is to serve women by give them something that make them feel confident and increase their self-esteem for them to be able to coordinate with their personal goals. So if the woman is happy with themselves, the family is happy. Everything is okay. We are the heart, the rhythm of the house. And so I want to give to women, empower them so they can give more to the world.
And what's the product then?
The product is fitness and shape wear. So what I did was I face trainer, the body shaper, and the leg fitness wear together. I blend them together. So you just need to take one piece of clothing with yourself, not a lot of things. So that way.
Have you produced these yet, or
no,
are you still at the idea stage?
No, what I done, it was prototypes.
Yes.
So I done prototypes, I done designs, I try out, I ask a few women to different shape to try on the ladies, and just to make sure it's not just one type of the body is going to fit the product, but any type of the body, any stage or any age can wear the piece of the body and say, I like what I see in the mirror, let's go. So that is my product. And I have the service, but the service is very easy, or the service and the product, they are independent. They don't depend on each other, but they complement.
What's the service?
The service is, I work for shop. I was doing body contouring treatments, and I was tell my customers to go and make sure they run and they do exercise. So to short the time that you lose, you know, the local fats on yourself, on your legs, bye-bye cellulite. And while they was doing that, I was give them the shapewear. For example, if they done the gluteus, I will give them the prototype or shapewear for them to wear. And I was seeing if they, after they stop the treatment, if they keep the shape, no going back to the flat bump or to the puff in the belly. So that did work. I closed the shop and I focused on find the right fabric, because one of the complaints about the prototype was the fabric. So a lot of buying fabric, everybody try on the prototype with the right fabric. I found the fabric. And now what I'm looking for is to be able to produce, but before produce, I want to patent the product.
But also you want to be able to find out about customers and who to sell to and how to sell them, which is the point of what we're doing here. For instance, if you look at your lean canvas, you've identified some great problems, or not great problems, you've identified some problems here. It's very clear to me when I read through your canvas, it's all about low self-esteem. And it's all about body, and I don't know whether this just applies because your customer segment's also effectively women. Do men not have this?
Well, there is a thing. My business right now, I want to focus to women. However, I wrote my business plan with 10 years vision, where there is a time where something's going to come up to serve the men as well.
Understood. So the existing alternatives. So what can women, currently it's women, what can women find as an alternative today?
Okay, we have many things. We have the traditional gym, fitness service, diets, beauty salons. We have coachings. What I'm bringing is, I want to combine.
Yeah, now yours is your solution. So talk us through your solution.
Okay. So what we have in the market in the moment is everything, but is everything very separate from each other.
So you're bringing it together under a clothing under a clothing line.
Under the
clothing brand.
Yes, because there is women say they are my customers, so they can speak for themselves. We wear leg is a fitness way. It's not because we're gonna go to the gym. Sometimes we're gonna walk the dog. We are take the children to the school and going back. It's comfortable. Yeah.
And so your unique proposition, it's all about self-love. Yeah.
Yes, because this product is not for cover up, it's not for pretend, it's for motivate.
Yeah.
And the women feel comfortable with themselves. I went to the phase I was uncomfortable with myself, and it's not a nice place. Some women can get out of it, some of them not. And
no, I'm good. Sorry, I'm going to have to start moving. Customer segments. So you're focusing mainly on women that are over 30. Is that right? Or
I put 30 because normally they're already moms.
Yeah. No, that's fine. It's so you're not focusing on
16-year-olds.
No. You're middle income. Yeah, of course, they're mums with children. Professional, yes. So you're early adopters. Okay, looking at that makes sense. Okay, let's go into the profile. I'm going to be quite interested in. I think I know what your customer profile will be. B2C. We got Margaret here. Brilliant. Good name. So talk to us about Margaret. Talk to us about Margaret. Just your.
So well, Margaret, she's a educated woman, but she's single. She has 2 children, and she has a very demanding job, and she has a very busy day. So in the middle of that, she needs to make sure she can take a time for herself so she can deliver more. So one of the reasons she want the product is because when she has that time for go for a walk, she want to go and she want to go feel comfortable and she want to go feeling actually motivated and with image of what she want for herself or how she want to see herself. It's not because she put the product, is that what she want to be, but she is close to there and motivated actually. I'm gonna take this 30 minutes, be focused on me.
Right, I'm probably not the right person to give some feedback on this particular idea.
I will love feedback.
But I'd love to hear some feedback from the room or from Zoom while I just bring up the value proposition canvas.
Also, she very modest. She doesn't like the fitness clothing where have the colors highlighting, you know, make focus in certain parts because she's modest. She's a mom.
Understood.
How are you going to sell the product? So are you just going to sell it as a one-off? Because you know, like Fabletics. Fabletics are a great brand, very expensive, and they try to do a subscription. I don't really understand why, but it seems to work for them. And so, because there's part of the service as well, how are you going to remind the customer that it's not just the leggings, but it's also the service? And do they have to be local to the area?
Actually, even there is a service, I can keep them together, but I can give if it's there together, I pretend to sell package where they can buy the service and with the service comes the product. Okay. But or whenever the person can buy just the product by itself and have just a product and buy when she feels she need a product, not like I don't feel like a subscription of clothing is actually something every month we have to have a piece of clothing. No, I don't feel that's environment sustainable. I don't feel like as well, I don't want something that want to make economic pressure on my customers. I want them to buy every time that something comes new and they like it. No, so the product and the service will be separate. But if the person is like, okay, every week I want to make sure I have this 1 hour just for myself, they can come in and have the service.
Price range? I mean, I know it's probably going to depend, but is it going to be expensive or is it going to be like mid-range?
I want a mid-range, and because I have 3 types of legging, they will differentiate on what is specific given to the customers. I have a legging just for the waist, just for the gluteus, and the one that is combined both of them.
Okay.
I'm a customer.
You're a customer. Eco-friendly products. Somebody's asked about eco-friendly products. Is that
how eco-friendly are your products?
All right. One of the things that I learned was on my contact with the industry of fashion and manufacturing is one of the things I can do to contribute to be environment friendly is produce as local as possible. Not to go too far away to produce it. I was looking for environment friendly fabric, but the quality is not yet on the standard I'm going to provide what I want to give to my customers. So I will look for make it the production to be more local. So the
we ran out of time, unfortunately, and you've got such a good value proposition canvas. I really wanted to go through that. We really don't have time if we're going to get through the agenda today. I love this. Actually, just one question on it. Did you, when you put this together, did you try to make them fit at the beginning, or did you put them into each and then?
What I did was, first of all, I focus on a customer.
Brilliant.
I did focus on a customer, and then when I done everything for the customer, and then I went to see what I had first, and then I was doing the link because and I did use Amazon as my example to think about this.
Great.
One of the things I think is more value everybody's life is time and money. I say, okay, I need to make sure this is a game creator for my customers, time and money.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. If there's any questions or you want to carry on the conversation, we've got the other meeting room and room 1 on Zoom. We've got 2 more to go. Let me have a look at we've got Kyle.
Okay, so thank you.
Just there's a meeting room, or if no one's going in the
26,
meeting.
room 26.
People want to ask. One second. So, Kyle, are you there? I think you're doing it online, I believe.
Yes, I am here. How are you doing?
Good man. Good man. Good to see you. So Carl, we're gonna take the same sort of format as we've been doing for the rest of the day. Would you? I'm gonna put your idea up on.
Yes, sir.
I'm gonna put it up.
Give me one moment.
What's the name of your idea, Kyle? Where is it?
He said 1 moment, so.
It's Soothie. I know it's Soothie, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Could you just give us a little, just a minute or so, just describing what Soothie is and how you came up with the idea, please?
Oh, awesome. Greetings, everyone. I am Kyle Gardner, and my company is called Kiner Corp. And essentially, Soothie is a multifaceted pacifier that takes on nutritional and entertainment aspects to help fight the epidemic of vitamin deficiencies within our youth, specifically infants. So essentially, I came up with the idea Soothie during the summer of 2020, during COVID time. And it was basically my baby cousin came over. He was crying profusely, like nonstop. And I've always wanted to be an entrepreneur. I've been watching Shark Tank every single Friday for the longest. And then I just thought about what intellectual property I could create or reinvent that helps babies subside from crying. And the first thing I thought of was the everyday pacifier. So as I continued to do my research and went back into see what other innovations already exist, see what's sold in the market, in your local grocery stores like Walmart, Target, etc., I started to see there's actually vitamin deficiency, specifically vitamin D, that is taking an impact in our youth. So my thought was, how about I take this modern day pacifier and add other aspects to it while also finding this epidemic of vitamin deficiencies within our youth. So that's how Soothie became born. And it's essentially a pacifier, of course, as I previously mentioned. It's a teether, rattle toy. It has replaceable nipple pieces because if you didn't know, the nipple size of the pacifier has to correspond with the age of the baby or it can produce a choking hazard. And then, of course, it's the pasteurized fruit, organic fruit juices that will also be incorporated, which will be there through a subscription. And I like to say $1 a day keeps the vitamin deficiencies away. So essentially the parents or whatever guardian of the child will basically get these juices that help give it to the children so it can help fight that, because vitamins can be naturally found in our fruits and vegetables. And this is a better method because after a 6-month period, pediatricians recommend that you start introducing the infants to different food sources so they can start getting used to that solid thing. But when it comes to feeding them like mush solids, that can be very tedious for the parent or whatever guardian there is. It's very hard because to make sure the child doesn't choke or make sure there are any other hazards are clear out of the way. So this would be easier to administer to the child because it's a steady flow to reduce choking hazards and a lot of other different advantages there.
Okay, thank you, Kyle. That's really helpful. And have you actually produced the product? Because
I haven't produced the product yet. I have a 3D printing of it, and I have other like not the scale images of it basically, and then I have like a physical copy of it. I'll get that right now.
Yeah, that would be good if we could see get a view of it.
This is it right here. It's clearly not the scale because it's like clearly too big.
1 second. Oh, your camera's now died out. Perfect timing.
Of it to an extent, but I'm working on trying to get an actual physical prototype with the materials that I need. But as you know, that's very expensive, and it's like a lot of different steps to go along with that.
Well, the good thing here is what we're trying to do is help you make sure that you don't spend lots of money producing a prototype that people don't want.
Right. Yeah, that's very useful.
So that's what we're trying to achieve here. So talk us through. I don't know whether you've seen any of the other presentations. But what on your lean canvas? Can you see that on screen that we've shared screen?
Yes, sir.
So the problems that you're solving, just remind us what problems you're solving, and then below it, it's what the alternatives are, so you've got these problems and what the alternatives are at the moment on the market.
So essentially, as I stated previously, the problem, you can see the specific stat here according to the CDC, an estimate of 5% and 13% of breastfed infants and 20%, 37% of formula-fed babies aren't getting enough vitamin D to meet the new guidelines. So with this statement alone, you already see there's a clear problem regarding the nutritional aspect being sufficient enough within infants, and then the crying profusely and stressing out with the parents. And then at the end, you can see the astronomical amounts of money new parents are expected to spend annually, in addition to other toys and necessities. And imagine that being aside.
Kyle?
Responsibilities as an adult and a homeowner. So,
I've just got a question on this problem that you're solving. Do people know? I mean, you've got some data here, but do parents know that there is a problem here? Is this a problem that they know that they have?
it's kind of fluctuating when it comes to the everyday parent, like someone that isn't like very well endowed when it comes to the nutritional aspect or did a lot of that research. It's mainly a no. I've asked a lot of parents and they really aren't aware of this. But when I ask pediatricians, ask people who've done a lot of research and indulged into this aspect of their child's care, they're very well educated about it. It just depends on the demographic of adults and like what their main focus is.
Okay, and the existing alternatives, how can they address these nutritional problems?
So with me, what I mentioned previously would be I'm trying my best to attempt to create these juices, these pasteurized fruit and vegetable juices that are organic and that will be able to be administered. And then that would help subside the vitamin deficiencies in addition to all other medical things that can be taken care of, that can be recommended for the pediatricians or other doctors there as well.
So, but already there's some alternatives out there. People, they can take supplements, is that right? Anyway, and there's already pacifiers, but it's not combined the way you're doing it. Is that
Yeah,
right?
but we have to keep in mind that these are 6-month-year-olds. The supplements that you're probably speaking of probably won't be used on a regular basis to them. This method will be easier to administer to them, and it won't be as tedious of a process because, like I said, mentioning before, mashing up fruits and vegetables, that could be tedious in itself, and making sure they don't choke and things like that. This will be an efficient and kind of like an ease of mind method in order to administer these necessary vitamins to the child if needed. Right. And this isn't also required. They can use my intellectual property, my pacifier, without using the nutritional aspect of it. That's for the parents who want to hone in and make sure that their baby's nutrition is back on track.
Okay, and your customer segments, who's going to be buying? Who are your targets?
Realistically, I think my main target would be mothers. Mothers tend to be the main demographic of individuals that are going on Amazon, Target, all these different areas to purchase these products. But any parent or any guardian of any way, shape, or form that has an infant in their care, they would be my target audience, but mainly mothers. Those give you the main demographic of purchasing this. I'm
going to ask for some audience feedback here, but my initial thoughts here is when you've given me the problem's a data problem that pediatricians are aware of, but the parents aren't particularly aware of. You would probably have to make the parents aware of the problem before you as almost a first point of getting your idea out there and educating the market before you actually look for the market. But you already have a market in pediatricians that are aware of this data, that it might be easier for you to target first of all. I don't know, anybody got any thoughts on? Jake? No, please.
So I spent a lot of time trying to get my daughter off the dummy. And I wonder if you considered that in any way, that although this may be delivering the benefits that they need, there's also like a social stigma to your child being a certain age and not on the dummy. So we were actually trying to find a plan to get her off being so dependent on it. So I just wondered if you'd considered that at all.
Can I answer that real quick?
Yeah, go for it.
Oh, awesome. I'm so glad that you mentioned that because this was one of my concerns as well. I've heard this from many other parents, so you're not alone. My rectification for that problem would be that essentially at the certain age, because recommended by pediatricians and other medical professionals, babies that are the age of 1, they should stop using a pacifier after they reach 365 days of age. So, well, as you can see here, let's say hypothetically, whenever I take this, whenever they reach that 1-year age, they'll be able to detach the teething and rotatory ring from the pacifier unit. So it's going to be essentially a different product that they can still use and to their advantage because they'll still be teething and their teeth will be coming in, but this will no longer be in their possession and they won't see it anymore. So the parent, when they're at that stage, they can simply detach it and still use my product without the concern of there being any tooth issues, because as you know, as they continue to use the pacifier, they could cause dental issues that you have to rectify in a later stage. So that should help with that issue. So they can just detach it and give it back to the child when needed, instead of buying a new one.
Grace?
Yeah, so I had, there were 2 things that I was going to talk about. One, she's talked about, we also tried to get my daughter and son, obviously at times because they're not twins, off the gummy
Yes.
and all that. So he's answered that. But the second one, Kyle, is we're told as parents, as mums, that breastfeeding, or rather we think or misunderstand, I don't know if it's a misunderstanding, but we understand that breastfeeding is the best, like it has everything. And, they tell us, at least here in the UK, they tell us to breastfeed fully. So I spent 18 months each or something like that, painful 18 months each, breastfeeding each child exclusively, so much so that, well, obviously they started taking solids after 6 months, but, exclusively all the way through in terms of milk. And they wouldn't even take the formula when it was time to take formula, so it's kind of stuff. But then I believed I was doing the best thing for my kids. They're going to be brilliant, and they are brilliant. Well, maybe that's because of maths, but they are brilliant. Maybe it's not because of breastfeeding. Well, that's what mothers think generally. So to hear that for only 5 to 13%.
Was that R or aunt?
What's the question? Sorry.
The stats.
The statistics are
about deficiency of vitamin of breastfed babies is counter to what we're taught as mothers.
At the beginning,
Yeah, right there, 5 to 13%.
First sentence.
Yeah, very top left.
Yeah, I was wondering what Simon was doing. He was doing like the opposite as well.
So we're right.
This is not working. I need some help. Zoom in.
Yeah, and it's the very first sentence, top left.
Right.
Like, 13% of breastfed infants are getting enough vitamin D to make the new, because that's why. That's why I know that's what he
I've
did.
just looked it up on the NHS. They say that even if you're breastfeeding, you should give a vitamin D supplement.
Yeah, people don't know.
Yeah, so
Well, they give it for free in the NHS. You're meant to put a drop
Carl,
in their bottle.
any
Don't
feedback?
take
I mean, there's obviously mothers are believing that breastfeeding is, because that's the way they're led to believe that it's the pathway that they should be taking. That they probably also need some vitamin D supplements. What's your thoughts about what Grace was talking about?
Because we know.
I would love to answer that. So I think that honestly depends on the area you're in, because you're saying that essentially in the UK that you mainly need to be breastfeeding the child for the entire duration of time until they can't do anymore. In the United States, pediatricians recommend that you continue to breastfeed your child because that still is a vital source of nutrition for them, but you also must introduce other food sources to them. This is the integral stage after the 6-month time period we introduce in the fruits and vegetables, so you can start getting them adapted to different tastes, flavors, and so you can start feeding on solid foods eventually. You can't just according to the resources I use that are fully documented, fully verified, locked on the research browser, feels like that.org, everything, they are claiming that you need to start introducing them to these other food sources after the 6-month period. And that's integral to their development. So
yeah, but the problem is that in the beginning they tell us breastfeeding wise, that's the best for your child.
I think this is an education. This is part of, I think, Carl's problem may be to do with the education side of it for parents. Jake.
Carl, I love it because my youngest daughter lives on a solid diet of sausages and chips, as in fries, French fries. And she's been through 2 years of some pretty serious illness with chemotherapy and stuff like that. So this is quite interesting to me as for thinking of a sick child and getting them to try other flavors and other things like that. Plus also the supplements. I have to give her a ton of supplements every day. To the point about the education, and I think the ladies here are absolutely on point with that, is you've highlighted here with these stats that there's a degree of education that needs to happen. Now, very recently, I was chief marketing officer for a pet nutrition company, and our focus was on building that community. Now, I have 4 children, and I can tell you that the first one, you're buying every single organic, nutritious product there is for your child. You're getting educational toys. By the time you get to the 4th one, you go, have a sausage. So, and they all seem to be okay. But I think what you've got here is, and this goes into your channels, is there's a whole social education piece that you could be doing with this, and I think
as a thought leader,
as a thought leader in child, because of course the other thing is the demographic changes where people are having less children later, so they've got money that they are going to put into it and don't end up like me just saying have a sausage. But you know, there's a big piece of work I think you could do in there that would actually make you a thought leader in that nutrition for early stage development. I think that's a really interesting piece.
Yeah, awesome. And basically when it comes to the educational aspect, my goal is to use my marketing as a method to really get my outreach so I can inform more individuals that if this is something that you could take advantage of when it comes to the nutritional aspect, this is the perfect product for you. And keep in mind, my product is still fully functional without the nutritional vitamin juice.
Oh, we done, Simon?
I've just scratched him off there.
This aspect that isn't a multifaceted pacifier with different toys and everything to engage and occupy the child's attention. So they're not mutually exclusive per se. It's just for the people that want to take advantage of it. And I definitely do plan on doing my due diligence to make sure that there's a lot of educated individuals in the market, and so that they fully understand the problem we have here and what we can do to address it.
Brilliant. Carl, we're a bit short of time now. We've got to jump on to the next person, but very, very briefly, you've got a B2B customer profile in here, which you've named yourself.
Yeah, I want to make it personal.
That's good. That's good. And yeah, just talk us through who this person is, and just so we get an understanding of the businesses you're selling to and the person that you're selling to.
So greetings, everyone. As stated previously, I am Kyle Gardner. I'm a first-year agribusiness scholar at the Florida Agricultural and Mechanical University in Tallahassee, Florida. And agribusiness is essentially a degree within business and agriculture. I had a love for agriculture, food science, and animals my entire life, and I'm trying to make sure I get a background in my education that will help support my entrepreneurial endeavors. So as you can see here, I'm very outgoing, great conversationalist. I love talking to people, love engaging and making connections, and it's just very easy for me. And I would love to take that and use it as my advantage whenever I need to connect with other individuals. Hopefully someone in the audience that would love to work with me and my company. I love, was there something?
Kyle.
Hello?
Hi. It wasn't asking about you, it was asking about the business that you're selling to and the person in there.
Yeah, who's the customer?
Who's the customer?
Oh, I'm so sorry. Okay, the customer. I thought that was the other one, because I think I did that for the other one, the other document. But the customer I'm selling to, as previously, that's embarrassing, as previously mentioned, will probably be like a mother or a guardian.
That's the problem with actually internet connectivity and all of this.
Yeah.
I think
everything's on the agenda.
Okay, Kyle, we've sort of come to the end of our slot here. We've got one to go, and I don't want to keep people this afternoon at their weekend. What I'm going to suggest, are you able to go on Zoom? If you go into breakout room 1, anybody that wants to talk to you about this, they can come into breakout room 1 and you can continue with the conversation.
Okay, I just joined it.
Okay, brilliant.
And Carl, before you leave, there are some messages for you in the chat box, so you might want to read the messages.
He's there.
Okay.
Yeah, brilliant. And we have, they're all different. They're all different.
He was really passionate, that's why I think it will stop.
Yeah, no, he's really passionate about what he's doing, which I think is so important. What we got here, Christina? And Christina, we have a brilliant one from Christina now. So last one of the day. So let's have a bit of focus and help Christina to count. Yeah.
So he's not in there, really, though.
Yeah, brilliant. So Christina, which one is yours, Christina? Sorry, I think. Yes, of course it is. Yes. It's just I'm seeing so many today that.
That relates with you.
Yes. Where is it? Where is it? There it is. There. The only ones. Right. So what we've got here, Christina, you could just again, as we've been doing today, tell us a little bit about how you came up with this idea, background to it, and what the idea is.
It started when I was a student. Well, I'm graduated this summer, and
Did you start as a student here?
yes, no, here in the Farrington campus.
Yeah.
So during second year, I was thinking to create my own. I always had this curiosity what I can bring myself into.
Create your own business.
Yes. Yeah. And because my sister had a business back home, and I tried the business here, it didn't work, so I failed, which led me to this business idea, which is the lip balm. And because a couple of years ago, it was a trend with veganism, eco-friendly, all a better lifestyle, and about the environment as well. And then the idea came to me that because this idea already was on the market.
Yes.
And I really loved it and I adopted it. But I said, what could I do better? What could I actually solve other problems?
So you liked the idea and you were thinking, can I do something better? Can I use
Yes.
that way of
Yes, because I did some research. In the next year, 2023, will be the market share for the lip balms will be 1 billion. Yeah, 1 billion.
The lip balms.
No, the market share.
Okay.
So it is demanded, still is demanded, this product. The idea, and to differentiate myself from the market.
So just say what the idea is now, just.
The vegan, eco-friendly, compostable, paraben-free, organic lip balm.
Lip balm, so.
Tinted. There's,
So I'm thinking eco-friendly, organic-free, but lip balm.
Yes.
Yeah, got it. Okay, well, that's really interesting because what we can do, that's frame that. I just want to have a look at your data room. Where have we got you? Oh, there we have you. So again, let's have a quick look at your canvas. By now I should be able to expand these and move them around.
You know yourself well. Time to go on.
And I haven't, so completely not. Get this to move across. You don't have to move this across the map.
Keep it from here, but I know whenever I started doing this.
No, there's nothing. Okay, no.
Yeah, touch the screen.
The screen's easier. Okay, sorry, Christina. So going back to the way we've been approaching things, so with your lip balm, what's the actual problem that you see that's out there in the market?
So the problem in the market is that women have chapped lips. This is one of the main problem of the lip balm that you could solve with. The second problem is climate change. Like now the people and women especially, they are more concerned about climate change, about environment, and they are more activist toward that. So this is one of the main problems that my product can solve.
Well,
And
not solving climate change, but no, I see what you mean. Actually, that's quite interesting that you're thinking of your product in very broad
this
ways
is
as well as specific.
cosmetic industry. So all the cosmetics are plastic. The packaging is in plastic. So lots, like 200 millions of plastic lip balm, they are in the landfill and they are not actually recycling.
So it's climate change. It's you're solving eco-friendly problems. there's this problem with chapped lips, lack of individual expression. So what's out there at the moment that solves some of these problems?
Of course, the market, it's still, they offer this, they can, the handmade
So handmade
lip balm,
ones, yeah,
they will solve this problem. The
with
chocolate-
organic ingredients.
Yes, but my differentiating for unique.
So your solution,
Yes. So the solution is to provide only natural and organic ingredients, because many lip balms that they're handmade and organic, they are not vegan. Mine is vegan. So what means by vegan is plant-free, which actually prevents the allergies. Many women have allergies from, for example, if they use beeswax or anything that is related with.
so there's another problem here. There's allergies.
Allergies, cruelty-free as well.
And your value proposition, because you didn't mention vegan anywhere here, but I see it's in your value proposition.
So my unique selling proposition is to provide the plant-based, which is vegan lip balm, organic, from sustainable ingredients, but also that brings value to the personality, to the women personality.
Yes.
I created 6 type of women personality which get aligned with them. So each lip balm has different scent and different color that actually aligns to these personalities.
I got it. Okay, I understand that. Yeah, no, I understand that. Do you have an unfair advantage? Can anyone else do this? Is it possible that somebody else can do
It's
this?
possible to do, but the concept behind is a huge research, which actually.
But if you show it's working, somebody could copy it.
Of course.
Okay, no, that's fine. That's just, most people don't have an unfair advantage. It's just, as I keep saying, it's
But
about,
nowadays, all the products are.
but there's nothing out there at the moment that does that. And your customer segments, so
So
you're,
put those one environmentalista and cool moms, because these are my customer persona. They're Generation Z and millennials, but we can go
great.
back
Yeah,
to
no, before we go on to the customer profiles, I actually wanted for the first time today, go down a little bit. Not working. I wanted to scroll down the screen.
Okay, we need to go back.
I open it again. Scroll down the screen, sorry, Chris. I'll scroll down to structure. Oh, yeah, of course I can. So if we expand it out, then I can, that's it. So so for your business, so we've been looking at the whole customer side of things so far. Because we haven't touched on, and this is the last one of the day, cost and revenue stream. So for your lip balm, for your eco-friendly, environmentally friendly lip balm, what are the, talk us through what you've got costs here. What are these costs?
So the fixed costs are.
So you're going to have a website.
I closed it, so I need to create another one.
So you're going to be selling off your own website, is that right?
Yes, it will be e-commerce platform.
And you're creating your own e-commerce site.
Yes, at the moment.
Okay. Okay. So I understand that. So all these costs are mainly around your own e-commerce site.
Mm-hmm.
Revenue streams. So from Etsy's another e-commerce site, yes?
Yes, it's a handmade platform where you can sell it.
So you're selling on other marketplaces as well as your own marketplace.
Yes, I actually sell on Etsy right now.
You're actually selling, is the product produced?
Yes, I have the prototype if you want to see.
Yes, please. Yes, please. This is. Although again, I'm not your customer profile. I think next time I do it, I'm going to try to select ideas. Or tomorrow as well.
So I bring only 3, but there are 6 in total. So for example, I have this one.
How much are you selling the range?
I sell them now at £12.
So these lip balms now are. So you've made your product. So your product's made and you're selling them.
Yes.
And you've launched your business. And,
Theoretically.
and the purpose of you on this startup hackathon is to find more of the types of customers.
I'm selling them, but the sales are not huge.
Yeah.
So I really want to see if my idea is working.
Right.
So, but I want to bring the next stage because I have presence, social presence,
Yes.
social media presence, Instagram, Facebook. I have easy.
Ladies. Christina's main challenge here is finding she's got a customer profile and she's making a small number of sales. Let me just, where's your customer profile?
I have two.
You have two. So the main challenge here, she's got these profiles. There's a small number of people buying. I don't know whether you can see that. She wants to find more of them and make more sales.
How's your marketing? Do you market
I do run some ads, but it is a bit weird platform.
Yeah, it is. I've marketed on there before. Tell me a bit.
You can put, for example, a budget, and you don't get any sales. When you stop the ad, you get a lot of sales. So it's a bit tricky. However, I sell on Instagram as well through friend and recommendation referrals, and I have some repeated customers as well.
Has your persona, has she got a name?
Yes, and the environmentalista.
Environmentalista. So, go some questions. You got questions, Jen?
I wanted to answer your question a little bit about the sales. So Etsy and your own website are going to be, Etsy's competitive, your own website's going to be hard to get sales to. Have you explored more the B2B avenue? So Siobhan was looking at a bulk sale to boutique kind of shops.
Because decided they have the second product,
Yes.
which I'm not advertising it now, but it's I get more sales for that one, and I had been approached for a woman from Netherlands, and she's actually buying from me and selling to her shop.
Yes.
So,
Yeah, because that could be a lot easier route
Yeah.
if someone's going to buy 36 of
Yeah.
them off
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
and sell them themselves, because the individual sales, especially on the internet, is a hard one.
It's a hard one, but she approached me, so I don't know how to.
Yeah, so
There's some more
of her.
questions.
You need to look for more of her, maybe.
Yeah, that's,
Oh, what was the
if you can find her profile, is finding more of her, then that's,
Actually, I created a customer,
did you create a customer profile?
but
for
I was thinking that it wasn't correct, and
this one?
I actually hide it into the.
Oh, okay.
Into the other
Into-
canvas template, yeah.
That's a problem. There's a question from the back as well.
Yeah, business to business.
Business.
Actually, I done a work about Whole Foods, and I know they every year they open like an event where business like yours with the same values as yours come in to showcase their products, and I think that would be a great space for a product like yours.
Definitely.
So events like that. Another question.
Such a lovely product, by the way. Have you thought about maybe sending some samples to social media influencers and
Yeah.
get them to promote it, because their platform's huge.
Yeah.
So if you can get action from them.
This will be my next steps. However, I will need to do research for the influencer. You need to find the right influencer who is in this industry and to have the credibility.
That's a good idea.
And actually, about influencers is important is not the number of followers, but the followers to be very loyal to them.
The engagement.
Because there is a lot of things going on with the numbers of followers.
And just the friends I know who have allergies and are very specific with the ingredients and the brands that they buy, and they're very loyal, and they're subscribers as well, so that might be an avenue.
Subscription model.
Yeah,
Yeah.
with Amazon, because they can't just put anything on their skin.
Yeah.
Great.
Also, I think that I know a lady, I mean, I don't know her, she's this, this lady called, no, she sold her business for $1 billion, so I wish I know her, I don't actually know her, or I read the book and things like that, and that was in the cosmetics industry. When she started out, her products were expensive, blah, 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 same thing, because it was for special kind of skin, it wasn't like makeup that other people had. No one had that kind of makeup. And she sold her business after running it for 8 years to L'Oreal for $1 billion.
Wow.
So you might want to contact her. I'll give you her name, Jamie Lima. And maybe this sort of thing, you know, this whole thing about allergies and stuff like that. Yeah. And maybe you can license it to one of the other bigger organizations like L'Oreal or whatever. So I'd like to know the whole idea, because it'd be hard to break in on your own. Whereas you can partner with another big organization or license your products.
It sounds like you've got a lot of scope here. It sounds like there's a lot of scope. And thank you very much, Christine. Thank you very much. Again, there's the meeting room 1 if anybody, and the meeting room over there if anyone wants to talk to Christina more about this. But we've come to the end of today's hackathon with some fabulous ideas. Very, very few of them targeted at me. But the thing I think that we've got out, or I hope that we've got out of today, is by actually trying to hack the idea rather than this is my idea and I'm now going to sell it. It's actually trying to get to the bottom of what problems it's solving, what's out there in the market, what's unique about our proposition. Who are our customers? What are our segments going to be? How are we going to get them? Is it going to be through influencers? Is it going to be through Instagram? How are we going to do this? And it's all about focusing everything back to their idea with the customer, and then testing it. And then what experiments are we going to do? Can we put up a landing page and collect email addresses or create a wait list? All of these are just, they're free to do, but it's all about validating with customers before you have to build the product. Some of the ideas you've seen have gone a lot further than others, but all of the ideas you've seen haven't got yet full customer traction. Even Christina's at the end here, which we all like, it's made some sales. It still hasn't reached yet the stage where the growth stage, if you like, scaling the business. And that's not necessarily about the products now. That's about understanding the customer segments and the routes to market. So one of the big things today is it's not just the idea, it's the customers, it's the route to them. And most of you haven't had to spend any money producing anything yet. And you can keep iterating until you find them, until you get the data. So that's the main message that we are, or I'd like to get across today to everybody.
Simon, let's offer an opportunity actually. So at the moment, this is for our students and alumni from the University of London, but we do have a business showcase that's running on the 12th and 13th of October. So if you have any product or details or anything that you would like to showcase to get feedback, you might get sales if you've got your product as well. But even if you want to just talk to our students and our lecturers and get feedback on your idea, it's another opportunity to do that. And it's here, yeah.
So Monday and Tuesday.
No, I think it's a Wednesday and Thursday, the 12th and 13th of October. Take a card, this is my card, and send me an email if you're not already signed up for the showcase and you're interested. We can have a chat to you and see how it might work for you. And that's it all day. I'm not sure the exact times, but we can work with you on that. I know it's over the lunchtime, so I think it's something like it's either 10 till 3 or.
Lorraine, can we just, because we've got an online audience that I just need to.
Oh, sorry, yes.
But
yeah.
we still pick up in the room after.
Yeah, but some people on there might also be interested.
Okay. Oh, of course.
Yeah.
So when is it? Just repeat.
It's the 12th and the 13th of October.
12th and 13th in London.
It's here, yes.
In London.
Yeah. So it might be online people, but they can.
Fabulous. Thank you. And just wrapping up today. Well, first of all, a big thanks to our partners, which ARU London, for actually putting this on, for the university putting on, Lorraine's hard work. And also to Trudy. So Trudy Hamer, who isn't working at the university now, but she's very much instrumental in putting on the Founders Festival and the Startup Hackathon. A big thanks to Trudy. We're running this again tomorrow. Completely new set of ideas, but with the same framework. I would encourage people to attend, even though you've attended today, because we're going to be working through ideas, working through them in the same format. but learning small, different little things. I'll be focusing a little bit more on some of the other parts of the canvas and some of the other documents a little bit more tomorrow. So thank you, everybody, and I'll hopefully see you all tomorrow.
Thank you.
Thank you.